John goes live for us. So please, everybody, let's go and stand by, everyone. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, one and all. This is Breeze Olson coming to you from Santa Cruz, California. I am joined today by an incredible cast of characters, the best of the best in the gymnastics world, my brothers, my family, and I am so excited to be here to let you all experience and be part of this with us. This is the West Conference Championships, Arizona versus Iowa. It's going to be a great battle. We're going to see these guys competing in real time. They're at their respective gyms right now, and they are ready to compete. They're lined up and ready. So let's just go ahead and rock and roll, shall we? All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let's make sure that I have the right tools up and working. And I will start introducing the proper way of this meet. Here we go. Coming to us today from Arizona, it is the Arizona men's gymnastics team in Chandler, Arizona. They are coming to us from Aspire Kids Sports Center, and coaches Scott Barkley, Rob Cervic, Jeff Robinson, and Brian Kern. The team representative, that's the person taking care of all the equipment requirements and specifications, will be with us today, Mr. Victor Vasquez. So I'd like to say hi to Scott. Scott, are you there with us? Awesome. We can hear you loud and clear, sir. Thank you for being here. First of all, you are the by flip of a coin, the de facto host team for this meet that really doesn't have a host because it's all virtual. So you get to go first on everything today. So take it away, Scott.
From Katy, Texas, freshman Kaden Peacock. Freshman from Gainesville, Florida, Justin Smith. Sophomore from Camarillo, California, Hunter Burnett. Sophomore from Gahanna, Ohio, Clayton Cunningham. Sophomore from Barksdale, Louisiana, Caden DiGirolamo. And also sophomore, Ethan DiGirolamo. They're different. Sophomore from Sedona, Arizona, Hayden Goldstein. Sophomore from Richmond, Rhode Island, Jackson Harrison. Junior from San Francisco, California, Jonas Elau. Junior from Oak Park, Lake King's-on. He's our team captain. He's not in the lineup right now. Junior from Concord, California, Jordan Williams. Senior from Henderson, Nevada, Captain Vinny Colosimo. Senior from Henderson, Nevada, Christian Jennings. And our senior, also captain from Honolulu, Hawaii, Victor Vasquez, directing the meet. That's it.
Awesome, Scott. Awesome, Scott Barkley from Arizona, coming to us from Aspire Kids Sports Center. Scott, thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to have your team be part of our wonderful gymnastics events. All right, moving right along. We're going to go now to the Iowa men's gymnastics team in Iowa City, Iowa, coming to us from the North Gym at the Fieldhouse of the University of Iowa, and this is in Iowa City. We have coaches Lance Alberhaski and Coach Tom Dunn, and the team representative helping us out with the digital portion of things is Mikey Kogan. And Lance, are you there with us?
Ma'am, I'm here.
Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and introduce your team. I know they were ready a minute ago, and then you had to let them warm up because we had them standing too long.
Yep. Okay, sounds good. We're going to start with the intros. We're waiting for Zach to get in the lineup, and we'll get moving. All right, I'm going to have each guy just introduce themselves and say what year they are.
I'm Amari School. I'm a junior.
Hey, I'm Zach. I'm a sophomore.
Cole Jansen, I'm a junior.
Evan Davis, senior.
James Friedman, sophomore.
Carter Tope, junior.
Reuven Anderson, junior. Rafe Schaffner, freshman.
Dom Malazzo, sophomore.
All right, that's our big lineup for today.
Awesome. Well, best of luck to you and to your guys. And coming back to the meet protocol, if you will, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go ahead and play the national anthem. So if you are able to and capable, please join us in honoring the Star Spangled Banner. Thank you very much. Athletes, go ahead and begin your first event, 2-minute, 1 touch. Both teams will go to floor exercise and begin there. All right, folks, let's go ahead and introduce our virtual team, our family here at this competition. First of all, this is GymACT. And at GymACT, our mission statement is we're here to foster the growth of men's college gymnastics programs, strengthen and raise the level of our sport, and protect the relationships and integrity of collegiate gymnastics. While promoting the essence of the sport and its competitiveness, we provide ideas and tools to inspire the creation of new teams and support existing programs in their pursuit of higher standards. So here we are, GymACT, gymact.org. Go and check it out. We all about us, and we have some fun things going on all year round. And coming up, of course, this is the conference championships on the West. The conference championships for the East is happening virtually between Temple and Minnesota, and they're doing their routines by submission on their end. Check out their websites. In fact, gymact.org has the information on where to go to watch out for that as well. So our virtual management team, Robert Davis is our score master and resident geek nerd man. I love him. He takes care of all of the programming that I don't know how to do, and he makes the scoring system work well and easily for all the judges. Thank you, Robert. And with us, of course, is also John Lucas, our production manager. He's the video director guy, and he's taking care of all the video needs, making sure that he doesn't show me when I'm not supposed to be seen. And let me introduce the judges for today's competition. Judging every event is going to be Mr. Peter Wiggin from Chandler, Arizona. We have Nat Hammond from Las Vegas, Nevada. We have Paul Evat from Chicago, Illinois, and John Portillo from Westminster, Colorado. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Judges, go on ahead and switch over to the meet management in the meet control room there, and you guys can go ahead and take care of business so that I can talk about you behind your backs. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you all the hard work and dedication that you guys put in there. So let's go ahead and say who else is going to be chatting with you so that you're not hearing my voice the entire time. Today we're going to have a number of commentators helping me out, making sure that I stay on script somewhat. And coming all the way from Amsterdam, we have a N2 award winner, Mr. James Martin.
Hey,
James, are you there with us?
Yes, I sure am. Excited to be here, ready for a great competition today.
Awesome, awesome. We'll chat a little bit more about things later. Just make sure your mic is working and that I can see you, and I can both things. Awesome. And coming to us from an undisclosed location somewhere in the world is Mr. Nathan Suji, N2 award winner from 2018 or 19. I get these What year is this? Anyways, the first ever N2 award winner, Mr. Nathan Suji. How's that?
How's it going? Well, I think there's 3 N2 award winners currently, and this year is going to be the 4th. So I'm going to say 2019, 2021. This year is 22. So that's
there you
simple
go.
math, right? We did that.
Oh man, that's why we're not judging. These hard math questions are always tricky for me. So let's not go there. 10. That's all we need. All right, and my co-host for today, because he speaks much more eloquently than I do. Case in point, Mr. Charlie Nelson from Chicago, Illinois.
Breeze, how are you?
That was just to make a point, by the way. I know exactly what I'm doing. And with us also, thank you, Charlie, for being here. We are lucky to have you, sir. And also making some adjustments to all the wrong things that I say about the team of Iowa will be with us, Mr. Tom Dunn. Tom, are you there with us? He may or may not be. He's Tom, by the way, is one of the coaches for the Iowa team. So we're hoping that we can get his commentary to come through with us as well. But he may very well be busy, running a meet and whatnot. So there you go. So. Let's see. It looks like we are moving things along. I'm going to check in. I'm going to do here. You're going to see me do this on there. I'm going to have in my ear the judges' conversation. I know, right? Isn't that fancy? All right. So let's go ahead and start talking about these teams. We got Arizona over in Chandler, and they're ready to go. And we got Iowa in Iowa City, and they're also ready to go. We're going to have the Arizona team is always going to be first on each event. So they're going to be leading us off. And the first athlete up for this here conference championships is none other than Mr. Cole Jens. Actually, that can't be right. We're going to have to figure this out now. Why do I have that up on my list?
Whenever you're starting out a meet, I can never decide whether being first or second in a dual meet is better. Because when you're first, you get to set the tone, smash your routine, and be like, we're here, try to beat it. But, there is that pressure of you put that up and then they put up somebody better. But when you're second, you get to see it and you go, oh, no, I got this. And then you're ready to go. So I still can't decide. I don't know, James or Charlie, how you guys feel about that. But it's difficult.
It is real difficult. And you're dead right that starting off a meet, if you have a good leadoff man, you're going to be able to set that tone. And the other team's just got to follow it. And so, I think starting it off, if you've got that guy who has the mindset for it, that's where you want to be.
I think Justin Spring said it best. He said, whatever event you start on, whatever position you start in, that's the best place to start because that's where you are. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I think he said that after getting starting on Pommel horse at national championships one year. So
that's right. Yeah.
That would be the right way to deal with that. Now, I know at least at UW, we always struggled with the difference between, because you usually want your scores to build. You put maybe the weakest of your 5 first, leading up to the strongest so the score builds. But the weakest routine might not be the most consistent. So sometimes we would put up someone that might score higher because we know they're going to hit that first routine and keep the momentum going. Gymnastics really is strategic when it comes to dual meets and competitions. Even though each routine is so singular on its own, the team competition really does have a lot of strategy.
Absolutely. And when you get into this head-to-head format that we have, there's no doubt that getting a strong leadoff makes a difference. We keep the anchor at UIC. We keep that anchor, that best guy, but he's the guy who's going to score high, and he's the guy who is going to hit the routine. But then that leadoff, man, it makes such a difference. It sets the tone.
Yeah, I'm really jealous. I don't know about you, James, but I kind of wish that we had gotten to compete in this 1-1-1-1 scenario, because when there's 6 guys on one event, 6 guys on the other, it's kind of like you go up and you try to hit those 5 or 6 routines as your team, but the other guys are going at the same time, and it's kind of distracting. And I think it would have felt more like a competition with this new setup where it's like, you go, all right, watch me go, and you can really battle it out. I feel it's significantly more exciting.
Oh, definitely. The back and forth is super fun to watch. I was lucky enough, I did get to have a couple meets during my senior year where we did have the head. And actually, we
your junior year, yeah.
William and Mary, my junior year. Wasn't my best meet, but it was a really fun time. Really enjoyable competition format, and also really good as a fan just to be able to watch the back and forth. It's like watching an event finals at a big meet, Olympics or NCAAs. You have this, everyone's right in a row on the same event, as opposed to jumping all over the place, which is super fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great point, James, that, from a viewing standpoint, you're watching one score comes up, the next score comes up. You know who's winning, you know who's doing a better job. It's not what happened on pommel horse, what happened on floor. There are a couple of adjustments that have happened through a GymACT meet this season. So I'll talk about those just for a second while we're waiting. The two big ones are, if you were watching NCAA competitions, congratulations to Stanford on their NCAA championship last weekend. You noticed it's 5 up, 5 count. Every score matters. The size of teams in GymACT make that a little more difficult. So this competition here today is going to be a 4 up, 5 count. So if you see a fall, they may be able to recover from it. It's going to be really interesting to see how the teams are strategizing as they go through. But it's a 4 up, 5 count. So there's a little bit of breakdown. Thank you. 5 up, 4 count. I saw James's face give a look like, what are you saying?
We're doing a little bit
5 up, 4 count.
I want to take a second to welcome the people commenting in the live chat on YouTube. Aiden Whitehead says, "What's up, fellas?" One of Breeze's former gymnasts and my childhood teammate, Will Ryan, says, "Ooh." And Bran Drew BN1 says, "Let's get it, gents." So thank you guys for being in the YouTube live stream over there on, I believe it's through Virtual Stars on YouTube. Thanks for being here. Thanks for commenting. And I have that YouTube chat open. So if you guys have questions about routines or anything like that, I will see it and I will do my best to read it and incorporate so we can all feel involved in this competition.
Yeah, we know, especially with the new rule changes, 2021, there's probably a lot of questions coming up. So feel free to ask. Even as someone who's experienced in the sport, I had a lot of questions watching meets this year. So feel free to ask, and we're happy to give our best answers.
You know, you said we. I feel like it's you and Charlie, because I retired in 2019, and
you're done.
Then, so I'm going to have a lot of questions myself.
That's all right. The important thing is you can do a pike to Kachev now. Back. That's
right. It is.
Right.
What's old is new again.
So you can go straight, straddle, pike, straddle half, straight half.
No.
You can't.
The half and the regular are the same. Yeah.
Yeah, half and a regular are both
yep.
a C. Straight body and straight body half are both a D. Same box, same skill.
Yeah.
Why would you ever do that?
Because no one can do a half well enough to make it worth doing. That's why. Because you catch it too low, your legs split apart. It's not beautiful gymnastics. And that's what we're going for. We're going for high level with beautiful gymnastics. And that's what open scoring brings us, right? You got the 10-0 start value, but then you have the open-ended scoring then.
So, Charlie, I'm going to stop you in the middle of your sentence, and let's go through. This is going to be the first man up, Mr. Jordan Williams for ASU.
Jordan there coming back with a nice tuck double-double after he stumbled a little bit on the first pass, but recovering very nicely here and passing on the rest of his
Iowa
routine.
still warming up.
Nice connection pass there for his third pass. Moves back 2.5 to front full. Double full down the side there. Has to use all parts of the floor, so you have to get up to all 4 corners. And here he's going into his non-acrobatic sequence. Looks like he's doing some Russians here. Very smooth, clean Russian work there. That is tough to do. It looks just like it's on the pommel horse, but it's a whole lot harder when you're down on the floor like that.
I know what you're talking about. It's still hard on the pommel horse.
Yeah, I'm not a pommel guy, so I wouldn't know what I... Hard everywhere, I guess.
There's always that moment where you got to take that breath. Ooh, a nice triple full. Step slightly out of balance, but the adrenaline that goes through your body right before you go into that last pass. I hope my conditioning is going to pay off, and I hope I've done everything I need to do to actually make it around on this last pass. It's always a little stressful.
It's scary, but Jordan pulls it off nicely.
2.5 punch full.
2.5 full.
Thank you, Javin Peterson.
It was a 2.5 full his third pass.
2.5 full was the third pass. All right.
Double full.
We got
Iowa.
Drake Farley.
So, commentators, I'm going to let you be in charge here for just a minute. We're going to deal with a couple of technical issues that we're having in the meet management, and I'll be right back with you. Feel free to talk about me. Charlie, you're in charge.
Thank you. All right.
All right, well, the YouTube chat is starting to light up over here. We got Drake Farley, Mark Smith saying, let's go AMG, Gavin Peterson.
2.5 punch full.
Can we mute John? Adam Whitehead, will these routines be individually uploaded after the meet? Charlie, I think that's a question for you.
That is a good question. So this recording will be available to rewatch as you go. Individual routines are generally uploaded on the Road to Nationals website. That's the official scoring website for all of college gymnastics, NCAA and GymACT combined. So you'd be able to click on those routines and take a look at them again.
Awesome. Yes, the video is very small. Arizona's bandwidth was a little low during that routine, but we'll get that taken care of.
I thought that was just me for a second, kind of leaning into my screen to take a look.
Yeah, I was wondering how James was able to see that and commentate. He was like, oh, he started with I saw gymnastics, but I am not entirely sure what happened. Did he have the score sheet ahead of time? That's actually one question that I've been asked by some people, Charlie. You can probably ask. Yeah. Do gymnasts and teams have to submit their routine to the judges ahead of time, or are the judges figuring it out as they go?
It is not required. It used to be required that you submitted a routine sheet ahead of time. It's encouraged still, so that the judges have an opportunity. Butch Zunich put it perfectly years ago, right? Judges have about 30 seconds to know the code, recognize the skill, evaluate the skill, add it all up, and come up with a final score. It's the hardest officiating in any sport. If I'm a baseball umpire, all I'm doing is saying,
all right, looks like we're going to be moving right along here with the competition. We have Mr. Cole Carter, Carter Tope, excuse me. I read two different names in one list. It was Carter Tope from Iowa is the next athlete on the floor exercise.
This one's significantly bigger.
Yes, yeah, good.
And also
look at that facility.
Carter leading off with front full. Beautiful stuff landing there.
That's a blind landing. He's landing forwards.
Very upright in his landings. You see his chest is right over his legs. He's standing tall.
And that is tough to do when you're coming up on those landings there for those front passes.
Wow, this is a beautifully done routine, but we can't commentate on this routine without commenting on the haircut. That is epic.
That really ties the whole thing together, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice endo flip there, adding some artistry with a full pirouette. I say this routine really has it all: the hair, the tumbling, the non-acro.
This is how you lead off a meet.
Ooh, and a triple full. That's the way to go. Interesting, kind of like is that a 4-pass routine?
That was a 4-pass routine.
Mm-hmm. You saw that full pirouette after the endo flip to prone position. Probably filling in his 10 skills with that. Get an A-value part and get something.
I believe he had 8 parts in that routine, which is not the maximum. You can have a maximum of 10 counting parts, and you need a minimum of, I believe it is now 7. In order to get a full routine.
All right, moving right along, getting the go ahead from the judges here for the next guy up on the floor exercise from Arizona men's gymnastics, Mr. Ethan DiGirolamo.
All right,
nice job, Breeze.
Yeah, great pronunciation on that. What we have not seen yet is there's 2 things I'm looking for when it comes to floor: stuck landings and the golden sombrero, which is when you stick every pass. It doesn't usually happen. And so the first thing we're going to look for is a stuck dismount, and the other is sticking every pass.
If someone can stick every pass, that's going to be a big score right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next thing we need to do is get a prop golden sombrero to each of the commentators so that they can wave it around.
Add that to the green flag for a stuck dismount.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Punch half. It really is when it comes to floor, at least the way that I approached floor, was you can do a really difficult E-value double-double skill and then take a 3/10 step, or you can do a double back and stick it. And sometimes it's kind of like a gamble.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, James Martin during his career was a master at knowing and working the code. And, he made the suggestion. We had UIC guys dismounting with a back layout because you could stick it. We get 10 points in execution.
Yeah, it's crazy how much. Oh, almost a stuck triple pole.
Oh, you see it jumping around. It's a great routine.
Excited about that.
We have a question coming in from the YouTube comments. Are the scores uploaded anywhere?
Yes, they are. If you go to virtualstarsgymnastics.com, and it's at the very top, there's a comment. The first comment of the whole stream is the one that I put in there that has the link that goes to the competition page, and the scores are being uploaded automatically from the judges' keypad onto that website. So the database is in real time. So as the judges are entering the scores, they show up right there on virtualstarsgymnastics.com, and there's a slash and a few other things. If you get confused about that, just go to gymact.org and click on the banner that has for this competition, and it'll lead you to the same place.
Awesome. Sounds good. We got another person supporting Iowa. Riley Johnson says, "Go Hawks." Probably didn't sound quite like that, but I'm reading it in my own voice.
And getting ready for the next athlete for Arizona. No, we're going to Iowa. Amari Sewell from Iowa.
Nate, to your point.
Big double-double.
Mm-hmm.
A big hop out of bounds there. That'll cost him 3/10 for going out.
In addition to the landing deduction there. Yeah.
In addition, yeah.
Perfect to Nathan's point about go big, but you still have to hit it. You have to do it well.
He's got a very poppy hurdle. Kind of like, was it Alexei Nemov that had a very high hurdle as well?
Mm-hmm.
Nemov had a big one. Eddie Penev is Paul Ruggieri is the one I always think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the around the house arm on the roundoff too.
That was a style. Yeah. Amari coming in clean into the end here. Back 1.5, front full. Only a little hop. Finishes up dismounting.
Wow.
Big pass.
Tons of power.
On. Lots of power here, but unfortunately couldn't keep it under control the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
See what the judges do with that.
A lot of times on this, I'm hearing my parents' voice in my head because he landed, he hopped and took a step, and then as he took that step, his back leg kind of bounced. Is that second bounce with the back leg another step?
I would say yes. It is, when you see the step and then kind of the foot wiggle or the separate little hop, that I would usually count as a second step on top of the first one.
Take it all.
Yeah.
Basically, the rule pretty much says that up to 3/10 is the most you get for stepping. So if you move your foot once, it's a 1/10. If you move it a second time, that goes to the 3/10, and everything thereafter stays in the 3/10 deduction unless you put your hands down to the ground.
Oh, really? So if you take 3 to 4 steps, you'll still only lose 3/10 total?
Just keep running.
No. It's up to a fall, I believe. Right up to a point there, but 3/10 max per step.
Per step, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you can lose 3 for the first one, and then maybe...
All right, and we're going to move on to the next guy on the floor exercise. We have Mr. Christian Jennings.
We're still at no stuck landings. Let's see if he can break that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe our first one of the day.
That was a very fast double flip.
That was a tuck jump.
Mm-hmm.
He stuck the tuck jump after the Arabian.
Ooh, there we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know we're focusing a lot on these stuck landings and everything. I love it when this
gymnastics is pretty impressive. Yeah.
I mean, they are doing some pretty incredible stuff before they try to land and not move on the ground. I stumble when I step out of bed.
I'll tell you, I was watching the NCAA championships last week, and we're looking at skill level that is in that same range there. It's really pretty impressive.
Yeah, GymACT is one of those things where when I went to creation at Cirque du Soleil, and we had Olympians from other countries. We had guys joining that show where their countries weren't qualifying to the Olympics because these guys left. And when I met them and we were talking, they knew about the GymACT teams. They knew about the people on the GymACT teams, guys on the world setting, Ashley Watson, Axel Agib, people who are competing at the Olympics. They knew about the skills being thrown in GymACT.
guys like Christian Jennings right there are the ones we are known for the gymnastics world, throughout the gymnastics world. That was a great routine from Christian. Really showing why these teams are seeds in this conference. These guys are they're putting the big boy gymnastics foot on and making it happen. That was Caden. All right, we went backwards a little bit on one of the others. Excuse me, that was Caden. Thank you for fixing that, John. Appreciate it. So next up from Iowa is going to be James Freeman.
I'm still not over the size of this Iowa floor.
That facility is incredible. And frankly, you look at the facility that Arizona is training in. You can see that, you're a GymACT athlete. You have some great stuff to work with.
That was an incredible save. But when you take a low front landing like that in the beginning of the routine, your quads get gassed. So let's see if he can fight through the rest of the set.
It looks like he's doing all right here now, though. That second pass still had a lot of pop to it. Connection work there.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Feet parallel, nice stuck landings. He's got a lot of control right now.
Yeah, so piggybacking on what Charlie was saying there, Iowa is still enjoying the one of the benefits of having been part of the historic program within the university. They actually have been training in the same gym that they always have, which is a nice thing. They're now under the guise of the recreational department, but they're still using the same facility and the same equipment that they had when they were a varsity team. So that's one of the best perks of still being attached and affiliated with the university. Other than that, though, it's a self-funded team, folks, and they're putting it all on the line here from their own pockets.
And a nice triple full dismount. It's hard to dismount with a triple full.
Yeah, that skill is hard enough on its own, and putting it after a few other passes is, it's not easy for sure.
And here we go, this time with Christian Jennings on the floor exercise for Arizona men's gymnastics.
Ooh,
nice.
In front to begin the routine. That is
I'm surprised he traveled. A lot of traveling on that pass, but he managed to put his feet in front of him and stop the rotation. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was very well done. It's always, something has been either special or a good save or something relatable when every commentator goes or makes a sound at the same time.
You can also watch the team in the background.
All of my microphones cut off at once because we all said something at the same time.
Wow, that was a very showed some back flexibility on that front layout.
Yeah,
really whipped it around, but it's a technique.
Is a whip and a back layout in the same box now?
Yes.
Now it is. Yes. As one of those more recent code changes that we mentioned earlier, a lot of the floor lower twisting and straight flipping skills got merged into single skills, which makes these routines a lot harder to put together.
Yeah, to get to those 10 skills, but it gives you a little more variety as we're watching.
Yeah, which is really fun. It's nice to see a little bit refreshing because floor used to get a little bit repetitive, and now you just don't get that anymore.
Yeah, especially in the old code, we kind of figured out, you're going to do this, then you're going to do your double flip, you'll do your 2.5 half, your front double full, dismount with a triple full, and put a wide arm press in there, and you've got a winning routine. But now we're seeing a lot more diversity, which is exciting.
Yeah. I think when I was in JO, my coach said, you do a front layout double full, a 2.5 half, a D dismount, and a double front, and that's your routine. And everything else is
all right.
And he was.
And we're going to move on next, you guys, to the next guy on the floor exercise from Iowa is Evan Davis, the all-arounder, and also this year's nominee for the N2 award. So you guys keep an eye on him. You guys who are former recipients of the N2 awards, you guys are in the selection committee for this, so you get a vote. So if you haven't already put that in there, here's your chance to see Evan in action and see what he's got to show on the gym floor as part of his pitch for winning this year's award.
With pass.
He's a fighter. He's a fighter.
First pass.
That was a fight.
Yeah.
That whip half is really tough to control. It's a funky skill, especially trying to go into double front out of it, but he almost pulled it around.
Yeah, it's a very technical skill. I think one of the best whip halves I've seen is Eddie Penn. I think he went whip half, double pike half out, and that was that was cool.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That's a great artistic show there. I love seeing these guys doing some new fun stuff, bringing back the old ways of artistic. And we'll see that from Jackson Harrison next, too. Also adds a lot of flair to the routine, makes it really fun to watch.
And if anyone missed that, you just heard how beautiful it was because Nathan shut up for a second.
Nathan,
in the mid-sentence.
Over here?
Mid-sentence, he was like, "Oh."
It was cool, man. When I see something exciting, I forget about everything else going on, which was Andy Penov doing whip half double pike half out, or whip half full 1.5 twisting double front.
That was pretty crazy.
We used to use a still image of, a little short on that triple full.
Unfortunately for Evan Davis there on the last pass, a little too short on landing. Yeah. But that was still, again, the artistry of that routine was just so beautiful. I just can't wait to see him, get his wits about him on a power tumbling.
It's really how people come back. It's how you come back from a fall that really shows it. Shows your character, shows your leadership. So we'll get to see how he rallies the troops and comes back on Pommel horse. And, the triple full, it's so hard to do that dismount, especially when you're tired, especially if you've fallen. So it's good to see him continuing to push. And this next guy from ASU, I've seen him in person on floor before. And you want to talk about
artistry. Yes, indeed. Here comes Mr. Jackson Harrison from Arizona Men's Gymnastics. And this is indeed a beautiful routine to watch. So enjoy.
I've been competing against Jackson for a while, another gymnast from Region 6, and I've always had such incredible artistry as long as we've competed together.
There's a great landing.
Beautiful landing, double tuck full, nice transition afterwards. Comes back with double Arabian, another nice landing as well there.
Very hard to land those.
Yeah, those blind landings are super tough, but they're handling them super well.
Ooh, pulled that front layout out of nowhere.
Absolutely rips it around.
Artistry.
Gorgeous transition there. And this makes it so much more fun. This brings back memories of the 70s and 60s when there's real artistry on the floor, and it just made the sport that much more interesting to watch. And I think that's going to be a big part of the success of gymnastics in the future, is kind of going back to that old way.
Yeah, having some of that along with the tumbling that we're seeing these days really is entertaining.
Yeah, it's kind of like we had our artistry period, and then our we're going to throw big skills period, and now we're like, wait a minute, let's put it all together.
Yeah, exactly. 1.5 full there and preparing for the dismount. Finishes up here, front double full.
Close.
Tiny hop on a super difficult landing. Beautiful.
We have a question. Do we know if Cole is going last on floor for Iowa? But it seems Iowa is done on floor, correct?
It does appear that way because they're looking at a Pommel horse now, so I think the answer would be no.
Yeah, that very well could be an injury replacement or just a strategic move, though it does seem a bit odd because they do get to drop a score, but with that last routine from Evan Davis with a couple of falls, that they might want to do that. But I see us moving on.
You're right, because you said it is 5 up 4 count, and they put up 4 routines on floor, correct?
Yeah. Now they do have a bit of an edge. They had a couple of scores in the 13s, and may feel that they can keep moving forward with it. We're a few weeks out from the national championships, and sometimes you've got to make that decision from a coaching standpoint. Which one is more important for us?
So for people just joining now, what is this competition? How did we decide that these two teams are competing? Where does this stand in the ranking to nationals, where we're going? If it's the West Coast Championships, why aren't all the West Coast teams here?
That's a great point. So last couple of years, GymACT divided into 2 conferences, the East and the West, because we keep growing. We're up going to be 14 teams next year. We had 12 teams competing through this year. We divided the East and the West into 2 divisions, A and a B. And you needed your divisions. You need to meet everyone in your division. So, for example, UIC is in a division with Temple and... Sorry, I'm distracted by some Pommel horse there.
Yeah, so what I was going to say, you guys are thank you for filling in the gaps there in the sound. I appreciate it. I just want to let you know what's going on with the protocol of the meet right now is that we had some technical issues in the very beginning of the competition as we're getting the communication back and forth between these 2 gyms. And, as complicated as things are, there's about 30 computers all connected together, and the judges are in 3 different states. The teams are in separate gyms. So long and behold, what's happening here is that you're seeing the backup plan of when the judges, for one reason or another, missed one of the routines, then we have the routines being recorded on a separate device. so that it's not turned on the internet at all and not relying on network connections or anything like that. So right now you see what we're doing is we're went back in time to watch for the judges to see for the first time the Cole Jans from Iowa, his floor routine. So the judges are actually judging from this sort of a through the analog means of camera through to the other camera, and then they get to see it from what he actually did. That's the first line of defense that we have for the backup plan. If this doesn't work, we can always upload the routine to a virtual drive somewhere, and the judges can judge it after the meet. But this way, the teams are just now finishing their warm up on Pommel horse. The routine has been watched and has already been judged. You'll see the scores come up on virtual Stars Gymnastics right now in real time. So it looks like it's going through. I'm getting the yes, that worked well. The judges get to see it clean. So there you go. Virtual gymnastics happening in real time.
Breeze, your team is fantastic. And it's amazing that we can do this, that the technology allows two teams in two different places to do this. And we have backup set up. Camera angles are all defined so that we're all looking at the same thing. It really is amazing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we've been working hard. Last year was certainly a learn on the job kind of a thing. We got to experiment a lot, and people were very tolerant about what went wrong because, we were all scrambling. And as it turns out, in the virtual world, it's always a scramble. You never know when the network's going to go down. So they're always relying on someone else to do their job, and and hoping that I stop talking at some point.
So good. Bradley Johnson, hopefully we answered your question about Cole not going. And it was, there was a technical error with the stream, but they had filmed his routine, so he did go first. You were correct. And then we just put the camera in front of the screen so the judges could see it and judge that routine accordingly. So yes, you were correct. Cole is first, and Iowa did have 5 routines on floor. We just went with it.
We are. And thank you, Nathan, for filling the gap there and getting all the comments from YouTube. Appreciate it. We're going to go move on right along to Pommel horse. On Pommel horse from Arizona Men's Gymnastics, the first one up, Mr. Jordan Williams, right here from my neck of the woods. I love this kid. He's a great gymnast, an amazing human being, and it's good to see that he's kind of healthy now, putting some good gymnastics up. Let's check it out.
Is he going to be doing all around today?
If his back allows. He's nursing a back injury right now. Yeah, he's looking good.
Into some one pommel work. That is tough there. The balance on one handle is difficult to manage, to say the least.
Yeah, the irritating thing about pommel horse, obviously I'm not a pommel guy, is that most events you have somewhere that you can rest. Whether it's a handstand,
Jordan Williams from Arizona.
Nice but routine. At no point during that routine did he ever get to relax any part of his body, and that's why it's so brutal.
Definitely not. And not only did he not get to relax, it's far more strength than you can even imagine. You think of rings as the strength event, but it's probably really pommel horse.
Pommel's had far more strength than I had.
Me too.
I think we can all agree.
So, next guy up on Pommel horse from Iowa is going to be Mr. Carter Tope, and for some people may not be looking at the screens or the scores right now, but I just wanted to point out that Arizona is trailing by a tiny bit from floor exercise. Typically, historically, in fact, a strong event for Arizona team, and they are down by just about 2.5 tenths. They're on that event, 3.5 tenths, in fact. So Arizona right now with 51.9 on floor exercise, and Iowa with a 52.25. That was a great first rotation for both of these teams, and Iowa edging away a little bit after that first event. And up next on Pommel horse, we have Mr. Carter Tope.
I think that's just a testament to how close this meet is going to be. This is a really well-matched competition, and I think it really kind of just shows that after one event and probably after 6 events, we'll be in a neck-and-neck race.
It absolutely will be. These teams are really well matched.
I think a lot of it may come down to pommel horse. We saw Jordan start off really confidently with a nice routine, good hit to start them off there, and if they can keep the momentum going, could be the difference.
Yeah, I feel like pommel horse is really where you make or break a competition. You have your strong event like floor or vault for your team, but the other team's strong, so you can pull ahead by a couple tenths here and there, but it's really, I feel, whoever can go 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 on pommel horse is going to be there at the end of the day.
Oh, judge's eyes just twitched a little bit on that dismount.
Beautiful routine, 90% of the way through. A little struggle on the dismount. And this is going to be a tough one for the judges because that swing to handstand is supposed to move smoothly and quickly. And he muscled it a little bit. So there's going to be a question of whether he'll get credit for it. And then if he gets credit, how much deduction to take.
Yeah, we have a question from Sydney. So for GymACT, do they always do 5-up, 4 count and then drop the lowest score, or is that specifically for this competition?
That is specifically
for Charlie there.
Yeah, that's specifically for this season because GymACT, Arizona has 50 guys on their roster. We have some teams that have 5 or 6. So to keep our levels of parity a little bit more in line, we went with a 5-up, 4 count this season. And that keeps everything a little bit more exciting, a little tighter, but also, doesn't punish teams that just don't have as many guys as they're building.
Yeah, that's how we're going to grow the sport. I mean, you said we're up to, 14 teams in GymACT now?
Yeah, we'll have 14 teams competing in 2023. There are 12 this year. We are looking to continue to add teams across the country. It's really an exciting time in men's gymnastics. And there's 2 new NCAA programs.
Here, Charlie, excuse me for interrupting, but we have from Wheaton, Illinois, we have right there in the neck of the woods.
That's right.
For Arizona, Mr. Nicky France.
Gavin and Cindy will get to your question right after this routine.
Nicky's a gymnast out of St. Charles Gymnastics, where the Northern Illinois team trains. So he's very familiar with GymACT and is now getting ready to help Arizona.
I'm sure it broke his parents' heart to know that there are 2 GymACT teams in his neighborhood, and he decided to go over to Arizona.
There's a lot of heartbreak. Yeah.
Got a couple little forms.
Swinging fast.
Swinging fast.
Super fast swing here through these Magyar Savado. Little touch on the tongue.
That's the best philosophy on Pommel horse. Go fast enough and don't let the judges ride that quick.
Tick, tick, tick. But, I'd say this is probably a bit of a strategy. Jordan that was a nice set. He stayed on.
Yeah, he's on it for the team, baby.
That one, all right.
Gavin was saying that we were explaining how these 2 teams got to compete for the Western Conference Championships, and we did not finish that explanation. So
that's right. We continue to get there. So our design in GymACT is that the regular season means something. So essentially, you have to meet the teams in your division, in your conference. Again, my example of UIC, Temple, and New York Alliance. We have to meet each of those teams. Then your regular season record, not score, not average, but your record in those meets in your division will seed you. So as we have
Charlie, this is going to be an installment kind of a discussion, man. I'm
Absolutely.
telling you. Moving on Pommel horse here for Iowa. Next, we have Mr. Zach Titterman getting ready to swing some big stuff over here all the way from Oregon. See what he's got, but he's now in an Iowa team.
How tall is this guy?
That's probably 5'9". Pull that up. But I think there's a misconception that gymnastics has to be people who are 5'5". We've had plenty of 6-footers do some incredible gymnastics, and especially on Pommel horse. You can see that swing is looking really nice. And little struggle on the handstand, but he stayed on.
It's very well
that's
done.
supposed to be a swing to handstand. I think from both the Arizona guys, we saw it pretty well. They kind of popped right up, and it was a continuous motion, and that's how it's supposed to be done, and that is not easy. A lot of people call it a press to handstand. It is not that. It's supposed to be a swing to handstand.
Oh, you would call my dismount a press to handstand for sure, but that's supposed to be.
I certainly would.
Yep.
So here, ladies and gentlemen, we see that what's happening now is that on that dismount, it was actually deemed by the judges that he pushed off his feet off the horse, so that no credit for the dismount. He's going to have to repeat it by choice, or take a huge deduction for not having a dismount on his routine.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's done.
That's how it's supposed to be done.
It's nice to see it back to back like that.
Right? When you know he can do it better, and he knew it too. There you go.
So we have our installments, but we'll just answer Sydney's question real quick. Are they going to be doing 5-up, 4 count at nationals?
Yes. Yep, it will be 5-up, 4 count at the nationals that happen in the same location, same weekend as the junior developmental nationals. And it will be 5-up, 4 count. And Arizona and Iowa are the number 1 seeds from each of their divisions within the Western Conference. I believe that Iowa was 1-0-1, and that Arizona was 2-0 in their regular season. So it means that they're fighting for the gold medal match. The winner of this meet will be the Western Conference champion. The second place team will be the silver. Then there's a separate meet where the number 2 seeds meet each other, and that's the bronze medal match. So the winner of that meet becomes the third place team, and the second place team.
Hey, Charlie, just as a reminder, just this morning I actually posted a news blog on our GymACT.org website that has the brackets are actually on there. So go to GymACT.org, check out our news, and the blogs. The brackets are right there on that the latest post. And right now on Pommel Horse, we have on Pommel Horse from Arizona, Mr. Justin Smith.
Justin here starts off with a simple scissor into scissor full up on the handles.
It's nice to see a scissor full done with actually straight legs.
And not thighs on the horse.
Little split there on that flop sequence, but recovers well. Into more, reverse more. Traveling down to the end here, you have to hit all 3 sections of the horse, or else you face
nice
a
E value. Woo. Man, he has got these Russians figured out.
Very much so. And finishing up here with Russian dismount.
Ooh, nicely done. Nicely done. So just a little bit of a trivia. I just had a conversation with the coaches from each of the head coaches for the conference championships gold match. And yesterday I talked to Jesse, and he was showing me some pictures on the wall of champions at Temple. And there's a picture of Freddie Turoff back in the 60s doing a flank off pommel horse to the proper height. And we were all, extremely excited about the fact that, Freddie throws the curve to us all in that one. He's that guy who made it up and made the rules for the rest of us, kind of thing. So, anyways, that was not quite Freddie.
You were saying?
That was not quite Freddie height right now. I'm just going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, so flank is when he just kind of goes off the edge, right? And you say he wants to hit 45 degrees?
Yeah.
45 degrees, yes.
From his hips.
45 degrees to the hips, not to the feet. Makes a big difference.
Ooh.
Yep, yeah. Mm-hmm. Basically, draw a straight line from your feet to your hand to your shoulders, and see
that's a scissor.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and we are seeing right now from Iowa. This is Amari Sowell from just swinging like a madman.
He has a very calming swing, actually.
It's very nice, very fluid. Pulls off the 1-3.
It almost looks too slow, but he's in complete control.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well done.
That was a nice pommel horse routine. And a big smile on his face
from Iowa.
Yeah. Iowa had a slight edge going into that routine on pommel horse, and I think it's going to tick up just a little bit more.
I'm going to take a little gamble and assume that Mark Smith, it's an endearing phrase. He goes, "Let's go, Justin, Wreck-It Ralph."
It's 100% appropriate and legit. Let's go.
Is Arizona frozen, or is he very nervous?
He blinked.
Oh, there he goes.
Usually when I say, come get some chalk, yep, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yep.
Roll your shoulders around, take a deep breath, because if you get too tense, you don't get that rhythm. And that's the beauty of pommel horse. It is strength, it's rhythm, and just technique all tied together.
This is Jonas Ilau from Arizona Men's Gymnastics. And what you see there is that he's waiting for the call from the team representative. Sometimes these teams have a screen that's showing the other team, so they get a visual. But for the most part, the gymnast is just standing there waiting for, blindly for someone to call his name without knowing what else is going on in the meet.
Jonas swinging really nicely here. Big, fast swing. Very similar to Nikki Franz from earlier. They both have a nice quick motion through. But he does get the circle out of it. That is an important rule change from, I believe, 5 years ago now. You need to complete a circle out of a traveling skill or out of a circling skill in order to get credit of it.
Absolutely. That's a lot of work to do that. You don't get a partial or anything. You have to do that circle just to get it at all.
And it's credit, no partial. That's crazy. And then for those of you who are not seeing this the screen like I am with everyone's faces on, we all leaned over and almost fell off our chairs on that one.
That's one of my favorite things about pommel horse. When everybody's watching, you will see the entire room leaning to someone to will them to go in a certain direction.
Yeah.
It is.
And a beautiful thing about men's gymnastics is I have seen opposing teams leaning for guys on the other team to keep them on the horse.
We all know how hard it is.
That's exactly what it is. Everyone knows how hard this sport is, that there's a camaraderie among teams that is just unmatched in anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's truly magical. I've been to some other competitions that are not gymnastics, and you don't go walk to the other team. You don't go look for the other team. You don't cheer for the other team. And in gymnastics, everybody's cheering for everyone because we just want to see the coolest stuff we can.
Absolutely.
And it's also something that happens in college gymnastics that is unusual throughout the world, really. When you go, I've competed internationally myself, and some of the others here have as well. This sense of enthusiasm and camaraderie between the teammates is not nearly as strong as you see in college guys. And moving right along, speaking of camaraderie, for his team, Iowa, is Mr. James Friedman.
He has a good leg line.
Yeah, very nice here. Really nice
Great
toe point
patience.
there. That's hard to do, especially through all of these flopping skills, to keep those legs tight, straight the whole time. And just to do that alone is pretty difficult. But do it while you're spinning around like that is even more tough.
Until that straddle dismount.
Really nice.
Wow.
Beautiful. Well, at some point, you're going to have to tell me the difference between a flip and a flop. But that was James Friedman from Iowa on Pommel horse. Beautiful routine all the way from start to finish. Clean on his dismount. Beautiful toe lines. That's what we like to see on a Pommel horse. Number one rule, Nathan?
Oh, you gotta stick the landing.
You got to stick the landing. Number one, stay on the horse.
That's exactly it. Stay on the horse.
I clearly did not listen to you well enough on that.
You clearly don't do Pommel horse enough. Yes. Oh, man. Good times.
Get on and off the equipment as fast as possible so you get as few deductions as possible.
Mm-hmm.
In your case, that is true. So let me say that there's the asterisk on the rule one of Pommel horse. Up next from Arizona men's gymnastics team is Clayton Cunningham, getting ready to swing some strong horse. Let's see what's happening.
It's always fun when you see a really strong leadoff man because you know that their anchor is going to have something really good planned.
Absolutely. And Clayton's showing us two nice scissor skills. The McCulloch end-to-end there, scissor full. Really nice.
See that hips rising through the front.
Really nice swing on both the scissors and the circling elements here.
I'm going to have to screenshot that hip angle and the scissors. That was gorgeous.
That's the routine of the day on Pommel horse, I think.
Great routine.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clayton Cunningham from Arizona showing us how to do these pendular swings, the circling swings, the traveling circles, everything he's got. The dismount was beautiful. Man, oh man, that was textbook. Awesome job for Clayton.
That routine had everything.
And it's a quick routine, but on and off, very little deduction, hit everything they needed to do and did it perfectly. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, I had a judge at Winter Cup once because I did a front dismount on high bar. I got on and off so fast. He goes, I legitimately thought something was wrong. Like you started your routine and then you were on the floor.
Yes, that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, the judges are picking up their pace here and the rhythm of the protocol of the competition. This is Evan Davis on Iowa for Iowa on Pommel horse.
The N2 nominee who had to see how he can recover from floor. Ooh, first scissor handstand of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Scissor handstand there for Evan.
High risk, high reward. Mm-hmm.
Devalue.
Sydney says, don't count Evan Davis out. We have not.
Absolutely not. And Evan will be competing in the all-around today, so we got a lot of action from him.
Mm-hmm.
He's recovered really well.
Come on.
Yep. Just a touch rushed on that Russian travel.
Pun intended.
Oh, together.
Ooh. Would that be considered a circle out?
If I'm judging, I'm giving credit, yes.
I think I would say that's a circle out. It wasn't a pretty circle out, but it certainly was a circle out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what the real judges do with it, but the court of public opinion here, Charlie and I think agree.
Our opinion is the one that matters, right?
Absolutely.
And getting up and finishing that dismount the way he did, you got to take that and carry that into the next event. Have a short memory, move on, say I did the best thing I could. We're going to go to rings and reset.
Yeah, and that shows
Yes,
good
indeed.
leadership there.
It's a long road, these gymnastics competitions. You cannot keep things in your head for too long. It's got to be a pretty short memory. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the second event completed, and things are rolling right along here. I am Breeze Olson for GymACT. Here with me today, we have Mr. Nathan Suji. I got James Martin, and I got Charlie Nelson. We're the commentators. Well, they're doing most of the work. I'm just kind of giggling in the background, just happy as a clam that some of the best gymnastics in the country is being performed, and I get to be enjoying watching this and hackling from the background with my best friends. So thanks you guys for being here. Thanks for those of you who are watching this on the YouTube channel. If you have not seen it yet, over in virtualstarsgymnastics.com, that's where all the scores are being shown in real time directly from the judges. And they're entering the scores as we speak. I can see coming up on a website. So if you don't know how to find that, you can go to gymact.org and link into it, and you'll find your way through, no doubt. But this is great. Guys, how you feel so far about the first two events of these amazing teams?
The execution is really, it's impressive. We've had a couple of missed sets, but generally they're hitting.
Yeah, I think Charlie said it best. This execution is up there with the best of the best, really. I mean, you saw national championships, NCAA championships a few last week, and some of the international competitions. These guys are absolutely in the same caliber, and it's great to see that GymACT is putting up really fantastic gymnastics on par with the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're literally seeing routines that you would see at NCAA championships. We're seeing some routines that we'd be placing and potentially even winning at NCAA championships. And especially with the 5-up 4 count, we're going to get some pretty good scores here because you're allowed to drop that one mistake. And what I like about that is it allows the team to really recover from a fall because, you know, it didn't count towards a team score. So it's fine. You can recover, feel good about yourself, and keep pushing. That being said, Breeze, do you have access to the scores so we know where
I've got it in front of me here. This thing is tight.
Nice.
It is real close to me.
3/10 after 2 events.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've got Iowa at a 103.05, Arizona at a 102.85.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a close.
Yeah.
And we saw Iowa had a little trouble with execution on Pommel horse, but I think their difficulty made up for it. They did have a little bit more that they did than the Arizona team. They didn't do it as cleanly, and I guess that's kind of the point of open scoring. It allows for this, back and forth.
Absolutely. And, there's some debate. I know the question came in at the, on the stream about 5-up 4 count versus counting every score. And, counting every score, you have to really be on it. But you're allowed to take a little bit more risk, have a little more, try some things when you're allowed to drop a score.
Yeah, I feel like the 5-up 4 count really allows you to expand and, send it, if you will, because you can drop that one routine. But then maybe if the first guy falls, you might want to switch some things up and send your 4 consistent guys. But, let's play ball. Let's have fun gymnastics. We want to make this exciting for people. We want more people to watch gymnastics, and I think this is a great way to do it.
Yeah, I think it brings in an extra layer of strategy that you wouldn't get if it was.
Gentlemen, I think we're ready to rock and roll here with this competition. I know that these guys are chomping at the bit, and we are going to keep their well-being as the priority, of course. Up first on the rings for Arizona men's gymnastics, it is Caden Peacock, and he's ready to go, and so are the judges. Let's go.
I love seeing the different body types that can do super well on rings. You'll have these, completely jacked guys that look like they can bench 400 pounds. And then you'll have somebody like Yule who, is more of a wiry, strong type and goes up, and they'll do very similar skills.
Yeah.
Glad you know your audience. You can just say Yule, and we all know what you mean.
I mean, it is gymnastics.
Caden here starts with kip to L in the Yamawaki sequence.
He's picked up a little bit of swing.
And that is a deduction for each swing that you're doing.
Back and
this
forth.
Doesn't look like it.
So is it like one?
Like you can quite tell from the angle here, but it does add up. And it adds up quick. If you see someone start moving, their score could really start to go down, and that's a scary thing when you're up on the rings.
But they're also required.
There's a stick.
But they're also required to hold the handstand for a solid 3 seconds. So it's like, If I don't hold the handstand, I'm going to get a deduction. But if I hold this handstand and swing, I'm still going to get a deduction.
Well, that was a great routine, nevertheless. A little bit of swinging, like you guys are saying, but that was Caden Peacock showing a good start for Arizona men's gymnastics on the rings. They're looking to pick up a couple of tenths here as they have fallen behind just a tiny bit. They're still in the same margin. In fact, after 2 events, they're still only just 2.5 tenths away from one another. So this is a close competition. So these guys are stoked. You saw that his teammates were right there with them, just rushed in to congratulate him on a great start on the rings for Caden. So moving right along here, we're going to have on rings now for Iowa, Cole Jans.
Not sure if Cole knows what's up.
Charlie, you might know this off the top of your head. What are the stick bonus rules this year?
Oh, boy.
We're just going to quiz you all day, man. Let's go.
That's right. Yeah, now I can't. It has to be at least a C value skill. When you were competing, James, they opened up and you could have a B value with a stick, and we made that strategy. We would use a B skill to try to get that stick rather than trying for the C. But no, it needs to be at least a C value, and if you stick, you get a bonus onto your start value.
So you get that bonus for a C and a D, the same bonus for C and D value skills.
Yeah,
all right, here we go. Now, I believe that's correct. Cole Jans from Iowa on the rings.
Breeze saves the day. You can go look it up.
Yeah. Well, my goal is stick everything and let the judges sort it out. So.
Yeah. But I bring it up because that stick for Caden, that 1/10 is kind of the margin of error we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Cole, though, starts off nice kip to L, really nice and controlled. The same skill we saw from Caden, but executed a little bit better.
Little fun fact about virtual Stars Gymnastics, though, let me just say about the stick bonus is that if the judges actually enter a stick bonus, it does show up as a green flag on the website. So right there for Caden, he did get the stick, and that's the first one that gets the actual flag, which means they have to have a C dismount or higher to get the 1/10 bonus there.
There's no stick on Pommel Horse. I need you to get a
No
stick on Pommel Horse, period.
Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a nice routine there. He should be happy about that.
You know, that's the thing about the stick bonus is you get plus 1/10, right, if you stick your full thing, but you also don't have the -1 to 3/10 of the steps. So sticking your full value dismount is almost sometimes half of a point difference between the routine. Regardless of the entire rest of the routine, sticking that dismount can be a 4 to 5/10 difference easily.
That's
absolutely,
right.
And that's a high
moving
risk.
Right along here for Arizona men's gymnastics. Next up on rings is Mr. Ethan DiGirolamo.
Watch his feet as he's jumping up, because as soon as his feet leave the ground, that's when the judges' pens start moving.
Yeah, and Nathan, you mentioned that can be a 5/10 swing on the landing. It can be a 5/10 swing jumping up to the rings or jumping up to the high bar. You see people make kind of brain dead mistakes there. And that is a big
nice Maltese.
Maltese for Ethan. That is a big strength skill, and comes back hip to cross. Really nicely executed.
Lesson right angles.
Yeah, really nice.
And when you're going into the cross, something that I've always failed at is you have to come into the cross at the cross. Unless you are going support, lower down to cross. With planche, with Maltese, with cross, you have to come in right at it. And he did a great job of keeping his arms locked and going straight into that cross position. It's very difficult.
Yeah, Ethan really not giving him anything to take off on those, which is super common. You see people come in high and then lower down into positions, and he did not do that at all. He did that really smoothly. Double tuck full little step, but really nice. Beautiful thing. And a lot of that classic strength difficulty that you want to see on ring. So very nice routine there from Ethan.
All the way from start to finish, showing poise and control, and that was Ethan DiGirolamo for Arizona men's gymnastics. That was amazing. Going on to the Iowa team on their neck of the woods. Up next on rings is Mr. Carter Tope.
Yeah, on floor and pommels, Carter was really clean and solid. I wonder if we'll see the same thing here coming on rings.
How many all-arounders is Iowa putting up today?
I was wondering the same.
They only have 8 guys in the roster, so there's going to be some repeats.
It's
Yeah.
You're going to have to at least a few all-arounders.
Yeah, that harkens back to why GymACT in 2022 is a 5-up, 4-count league because of just the sheer numbers that we have on these growing teams.
Yeah, it allows for more opportunities, and as someone who competed all around for 5 years straight, it's brutal.
Those Yamawaki's. Go ahead, James.
Gorgeous.
Really well swung there. And back up rise L, and nice handstand. That's a very difficult thing to do, is to have a nice press to handstand, keeping the arms turned out, rings locked the whole time. Giant through, double tuck, 1.5.
I'm going to look at the site to make sure that green flag comes up, because that was gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm going to swing a green flag on that. If they don't, I will
I've got a green flag on that. Yeah. The rule is that your feet don't move and your heels can get back together. So ask yourself, were they too wide? Did he have to move his feet when he put them together? I say no. My green flag would go up.
Ditto.
I think we should be able to have a challenge rule. If everybody in this video chat agrees that it's a stick, we can challenge and overrule.
Absolutely.
And we have been talking about having we have the informal GymACT challenges in the off season, and these kinds of things do happen. We did have a meet that we hosted in virtual Stars Gymnastics. Actually, was in NAIGC, but we're going to apply some of those. The public votes will definitely count towards the ranking system. So we'll figure out how to put that together. Keep you guys posted of it.
Yeah, I think we should also have another metric. I don't know how you would do it, but that measures all of our volume control. And whoever makes us get the loudest during the routine gets an award.
I'm actively trying not to yell.
Meanwhile, let's look at Christian Jennings from Arizona Men's Gymnastics on the ring.
Oh, there's a James Martin skill with the flexible shoulders to start off.
The Minnick Haley there, an absolute classic ring skill. Comes in with
I really enjoy when you see them start out with, hey, look how stupidly flexible my shoulders are, and I'm going to do the hardest thing on my shoulders immediately afterwards.
Uh-huh. Nice lift on that Yamawaki.
Almost a little too much. Seems like he lost it.
Yeah, swings nicely, though, to the back up rise hand, and then shoot hand again. Nice swinging skills, nice flexibility, nice strength, and a beautiful.
We talked about we didn't have too many sticks before, and we're seeing them all over the place now.
Yeah, finally they were listening.
Yeah, Sydney Halverson and Riley Johnson also believe that it should be a stick and absolutely a green flag. So they're slightly behind what I'm commentating here. So they were commenting on the Iowa routine for that being the should be a stick and a green flag. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, that was Carter Tope that we were discussing there. Let me take a look at the virtual stars.
Green flag goes up for Carter for sure, and so that's going on. Perfect. Everyone's keeping an eye on those green flags now. I'm happy about that. Right
in the YouTube chat, if you think it is a stick,
and up next on rings, hang on rings is for Iowa, Mr. Zach Titterman.
Yeah, if you think it's a stick, comment green flag, and we'll back you up.
Let's go.
All these
guys so clean on rings today. I'm so happy to see this.
I was gonna say that's the first time I think I've seen a kip to L that actually didn't have deduction.
Yeah, that's a hard skill to catch. You think that an L is easy, but when you're dropping into it like that, it is a real ab workout.
Take a look at these handstands as well. You've watched a couple of guys where the rings were turned parallel towards us, and now we're looking at them perpendicular. That's just a cleaner, more beautiful handstand position.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a really routine.
Oh, there you go. Keeping it clean. Just
absolutely
about those clean dismounts. Don't give anything away. Stick your landing. Now that will not get a green flag, however, because it wasn't of high enough difficulty. Because the rule says it's got to be at least a C skill, and a layout. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's only an A.
It is only an A. So he'll take a hit in the start value, but again, it's that risk reward. If he went for something more difficult and fallen, he loses a point. So probably a smart move.
Yeah. And that layout was so floaty. I thought that the feed froze for a second. I was like, wait, what's
that? Do a double layout or something, but Yeah.
That's when we want to bring back risk, originality, and virtuosity. That would have gotten a 1/10 back for virtuosity right there. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah. Well, depending on the judge, right?
Breeze would have given it to him.
I would have so given it to him. I mean, that's when you go, or we can just say, let's just raise the value from an A to a B, because that was so much more beautiful than any other A that anyone's ever done.
You're raising it because he went so high, right?
I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing there.
It's the third event. I'm going to start
moving right along on rings for Arizona men's gymnastics, Mr. Reese George.
Ooh, I like that little flare.
That's nice. Reese starts off straddled planche. Really nice.
Very wide arms on that straddle planche.
Yeah, it's almost a straddled Maltese, but that's not a thing, so.
You're not going to see as many straddle planches as you had in the past. That skill was downgraded. It's not as valuable as it used to be, so you have to do it really well to make it worth doing.
Absolutely.
Upright straddle planche is a B now?
It is a B, yes.
But does it count for your swing to strength?
Yes, it does.
Still does.
That was actually a point of great debate early on. The swing, it was not going to be a swing to strength move, and everyone cried about it.
Yeah.
But kip to L is still a swing to strength, right?
Go figure.
No, kip to L is not. It is a static, but a front uprise to L is a swing to strength.
And a back uprise planche wasn't going to be.
Charlie, kip to L is still swing to strength.
Isn't it? Thank you for clarifying. Either way, I thought it never was, but
so all of these questions, for the folks who are just going, are these guys just making this up? For the most part, yes, we are. Yes. The judges actually, though, follow a book called the Code of Points, and every single one of these questions is answered in the book. If we were to take the time to look at it, we would know. So between all of us, I think the consensus is yes, the kip to L is still a swing to strength exercise, one of the requirements, one of the element groups that the guys have to do on rings. And while we all think on that, next up on rings for Iowa, Mr. Reuven Anderson.
All of my swing skills were strength skills because I was so bad at it. Oh, is he going to see an Azarian? Looks like he has a little false grip.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Azarian to Maltese, an absolutely massive mount there. That is a huge skill to start off with.
Guys, that's impossible.
Great body.
I'm just going to say it.
Bounces across.
So he's done 3 strength skills in a row. He'll have to do a swing now.
Uprise forward roll the keki, followed by an uprise Maltese. So this is a huge routine so far in terms of strength. Another uprise cross, just
Reuven kicking into high gear, showing how each of these skills is supposed to happen.
This is a gorgeous set. I want to see a stuck landing on that.
Yeah.
Uprise handstand fulfills the requirement there. Double layout.
So close.
Step back. That is a huge routine there.
That is high quality, international grade level gymnastics, folks. That was Mr. Reuven Anderson from Iowa men's gymnastics, showing us why this team is ranked number 1 in the country by the average scores, and these guys are riding high on their coming in for their first season as a GymACT team, having just been dropped from the varsity team. They went through so many changes, through so many adversities, and they're sticking together, working hard, and really paying off here in the end. This is amazing. Great job by Iowa on rings.
Yeah, the beginning of that routine was just beautiful, and adding the keki and to break up the string skills, that was actual artistry.
Super original.
Indeed.
And if you look at, actually, we mentioned that people are doing international level skills. I think just about every international rings routine starts with a Azarian to straight body or Azarian to Maltese. And when I say that they're doing international level stuff, I really mean that. That is a huge routine right there. Huge strength.
Indeed. And now let's see what Jordan Williams brings to the table, or to the rings, if you will, from Arizona men's gymnastics. We saw him already on 2 events, and he's going for his 3rd. Let's see what happens to Jordan here.
I'm excited for this set.
Jordan has really stepped up as one of the leaders in this team on the all-around. Arizona is running through some issues with their eligibility and availability for the athletes that go to Arizona State. Right now, they're on temporary hold. They're not allowed to compete. So all of the athletes for Arizona right now are the ones who are technically not students at Arizona State.
Yeah,
Clean routine here, really nice back up rise handstand. And Charlie, you can make a point about eligibility, if you will.
Well, I was just going to talk about team gymnastics, and that's what we're seeing. And that's what college gymnastics is all about. It is different than any other gymnastics you ever will see because these guys train together, they work together, and they step up for each other.
Yeah, you're talking about the size of the roster at ASU or at Arizona is an impressive number of guys, but right now they're limited to who is allowed to compete on the floor. But the depth of their team is so great that they are still neck and neck with the number one in the country. And there you see it, Jordan Williams, another great display of gymnastics on the rings.
And the really cool part about what we saw before Jordan and then Jordan's routine, rings is a lot of strength. But when you see them do that double pike through the rings, that's worth the same value as a Maltese. So you can approach it from many different angles.
Yeah, I think.
And our other all-arounder for today on rings from Iowa, we have Mr. Evan Davis.
Yeah, rings and rings and P-bars both lend themselves to very different styles, both getting rewarded equally highly. And Evan there starts with a nice Azarian to cross. E-value skill, again, big strength. The Azarian roll is very tough, especially on the shoulders and on the chest.
And to hit the right angles, as Nathan was saying, you have to arrive at the right angle. You can't just kind of go high and lower down.
Yeah, you can't roll up over. You need to roll right into the cross.
And that is what you call still rings.
And again, right to handstand. Little wobble on the second one, but not much. Into that pike Yamawaki, tucked Yamawaki.
There's 7/10 on your start value right there for double pike, double front.
Not giving him any deduction on that, I would say. That was a beautiful sequence there. 1.5 to
that is how you recover.
Nice job. Evan Davis on the rings for Iowa, showing why he is the team captain and 2 award nominee, showing the best gymnastics that he can show, coming back from struggling on the first couple of events, but really showing how he can come and bring it back for his teammates. Well done. 2 rotations down in the books for this first in real time, if you will, conference championships. Second, actually, right? We did this last year virtually. I'm kind of blocking last year from my memories. I'm just going to say
we did do this last year. Last year's competition was similarly as close. That was in Arizona State versus Washington, the original big dogs of GymACT, and that was an incredible meet.
That was a wild competition.
It really
feels
was.
Like that was a year ago, last time we did one of these virtual meets, and it turns out it was.
Yeah,
we're all so happy that the in-person competitions are able to happen again, and but it's still a tough world out there for these teams who are self-funded, and to have them travel back and forth from one place to the other. I don't know if you've seen the price of the gas and the pumps these days; it's a little bit higher, so traveling is a little more expensive. So this is the only viable solution for these teams is to do things at home and meet up virtually, and they got to put up with us babbling about them.
Well, absolutely, Breeze.
Mark Smith actually just commented in the YouTube thread. I don't know if you guys can corroborate this. The ASU students are currently allowed to compete just under Arizona men's gymnastics at this time. It is complicated.
Yeah, I believe that is the case. There were a few issues during the year here, I think the ASU team is getting caught up in some larger issues at the University of Arizona, or Arizona State, rather. I certainly don't know enough detail, but they have so much depth that you can see their gymnastics is strong and it's a great team. Frankly, whoever they put in there is going to be able to fight with the best.
Come to GymACT, we'll always let you do gymnastics. What are the rules regarding, it looks like Arizona men's gymnastics is landing on a trampoline over there.
So, that's one of the vagaries of a virtual competition like this. Your training center may not, it may be on top of a resi. That is a regulation landing mat, but it does appear that it's not the same as being on concrete. Landing surfaces will vary a little bit. And when I say concrete, you go to a lot of competitions and that's what it is. But if you're on a podium, it's that much softer. So this is it's an exception that we need to live with. When we're all in the same place, it'll work out better.
Hey Charlie, let me stop you guys just for a second because I want to say hi to right there our correspondent on the floor. I'm going to have a quick chat with Scott Barkley, the head coach for Arizona men's gymnastics team, and maybe he can clarify some of these issues on of his own. Scott, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
All right, I can hear you. I can hear you. I know it's a loud gym there because the enthusiasm is always high at Aspire. So we'll try to keep this going a little bit. Just first of all, thanks for being our host for today's competition. And it seems like things are going pretty well for you. How you feel so far?
Well, feeling pretty good. You know, you got all the technical things you got to deal with and getting the meet going, but it's going really well. And just really appreciate you guys putting this on for us. I think so far, I mean, it was a good meet going right up in the rings. You know, it was pretty close right there, within a couple tenths. So
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, historically, your team has a strong, second half of the Olympic order, vault especially being one of your forte. So I wish you luck on that. I don't want to keep you for too long because I know you got to get going and the media is rolling. So I just want to say once again, thank you for having us. And anything you wanted to add to in regards to GymACT, because you are the GymACT president after all.
No, not much other than just want to thank all the supporting people out there that are really pulling to see more men's gymnastics programs coming online, and we are just excited about the future of it and looking for some good help in a lot of different ways. So kind of keep posted to our GymACT website, and we could use some good help as we grow. That's the big thing right now. But thanks for everybody.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Scott Barkley, the head coach for Arizona men's gymnastics team. And thank you, Scott, so much for your time and energy there. I just saw Tom Dunn going across the camera. I'm going to have a chat with him maybe a little bit later. But we'll see. Let's keep this competition going. It seems like the judges are kind of ready to go. I'm checking in on 2 different channels to see if things are happening. But you know what? Why don't you guys carry on without me for a minute or so here? Charlie, if you have anything else to say about GymACT, go ahead and add on, and then I'll come back with you guys in a bit.
Oh, you know, Scott started to mention it, that GymACT, as it grows, we're going to need more help, whether that is your time, your talent, or your treasure. If you head over to gymact.org, you're going to be able to get onto our mailing list and be able to actually participate in the growth of this league. It's an incredible time for gymnastics, for men's gymnastics at the college level, because you've got 2 new NCAA teams. We added 2 new GymACT teams this year. We're going to be adding some more GymACT teams. There are 29 college teams you can join now. For the first time in a long time, I can turn to a kid who is a dedicated gymnast and say, if you want to do college gymnastics, there's a team for you. I'm getting chills down my neck here, because you couldn't say that for so long. And so, you know, we had a GymACT camp last summer. We're going to have another one this summer, where you can meet all the GymACT coaches, and you're going to be able to interact with them and learn about their programs. But all of those guys have a place to go.
We have a question. Are we going to be commentating nationals?
Well, I will be. Nationals is a different beast from what we're doing here. This is a fully integrated GymACT competition, and GymACT Live, we like to call it. And but at Nationals, we are going to be piggybacking on the systems that USA Gymnastics has in place at their location. So it's going to be slightly different, but there will be something along the lines of the commentating and the webcasting that's going to be available to public. But we're going to be moving on. Vault is about to begin. So thanks for hanging out with us there, everybody. We appreciate you. Without you, it's just us babbling, and we can just do that over the phone. And Christian Jennings from Arizona Men's Gymnastics.
Don't blink now, because Vault happens so quickly. Here he comes. Osfull.
Nice Souk double, Christian.
Nice.
Souk double full, if you will. But pretty good start there. Definitely good to put your first one to your feet.
Yeah.
Always
Nathan, absolutely stay on your feet. And Nathan brought it up. You know, that landing surface, it does look a little soft, but brings its own challenges. If that was a harder surface, it might have pushed back against him more and wouldn't have those big steps on the landing.
Vault goes
I know.
quick,
I would
as
probably
we
put
all
like
know. We're moving right along to the next guy. Next up on vault for Iowa is Mr. Rafe Schaffner.
You know,
Iowa
without a
like here. Oh, also going on to a softer landing, so kind of a level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
That would have stung if it was a hard landing.
yeah, that would stung a lot. What I want to see is if Arizona hits their first 4 vaults, I want their 5th guy, since it's a softer landing, to just throw a big upgrade and see what happens.
Exactly.
That's an
I want to see him do a hex full.
We'll allow a 6
Hex
vault
back.
if someone's going to throw a hex back.
Mhm.
A hex back vault would be incredible.
Last time I saw that was at the Naval Academy in the 90s.
Oh
I
man!
don't think
Moving
I was
right
allowed.
along on the vault. Up next for Arizona State, Arizona Men's Gymnastics, Mr. Hayden Goldstein. I like this point of view where you can see the gymnast salute, and it gives you a second to prepare here as an audience and as a judge. It gives you a little bit of a heads up. Ooh, much
that's
better
something we
rotation.
dealt with last year. Sometimes you'd be like, they're vaulting, and you're just staring at the screen, and something, human comes through.
Yeah.
There was a little cleaner of a double full than the first 2 that we saw, but again, a little bit of a weird landing there with that soft mat. Making it tough to stick.
Yeah, in his case, though, it looks like he piked a little more than he needed to at the end. Maybe he thought he wasn't quite as high as he was, but he needed 2 more 8 inches to make that stick.
Yeah.
So right on to Iowa on vault. Up next is Carter Tope, having a great meet, Carter, today. So let's keep going, knocking on wood, knocking on my head a couple times here, and let's make sure that this guy stays on his feet, going high. Let's go. Run, jump, and land.
Nicely done.
Yes. 4 events, 4 hit routines. Wow.
Apparently, the compulsory vault for conference championships is a Souk double full.
But you know,
it's nice to see that with GymACT, because sometimes people are like, oh, is GymACT at the same level of NCAA? And you're going to see a lot of these double twisting vaults in NCAAs. Sometimes the top teams, you'll see a 2.5, but this really is a world class vault. You'll see this vault in some Olympics.
Speaking of some good vaults and power, here comes Jackson Harrison for ASU. He saw him on floor earlier with that beautiful artistry. Jackson is one of those guys that, if I'm not mistaken, he competes at the in AIGC Nationals in the decathlon. So he does all men's and women's events. And you can see how he has definitely the flair to pull off a beautiful floor routine with music. And here he goes on vault. We're taking 1.5. A hard vault to do on girls NCAA vault. That'll be in a pretty good scoring vault right there.
Oh, that'd be a 10 in women's NCAA gymnastics. Might get in trouble for saying
Oh man, I got him started. I'm sorry, everybody.
But I'll tell you, he traded 4/10 in value by only doing a 1.5 versus a double full of the first 3 vaults we saw. But going in with that round off, that Yurchenko entry, it's a lot cleaner.
And you also get to avoid, because your chest down on a landing is going to be up to like a 3 to 5 tenth deduction. So when you're coming in backwards, your chest tends to be down. They're usually going to take 3/10. When you're coming in forwards, you have a better chance of keeping your chest up. So while you lost 4/10 in difficulty, you're gambling a 3 to 5 tenth chest deduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a super clean vault, so hopefully we'll see that pay out for Jackson in the score.
And what was the team score difference at halftime?
So it's Carter 14-8.
Yeah, halftime. We're in competition mode.
And while we're talking about halftime, James Freeman from Iowa is up next on vault, and he's ready to go. Already saluted.
Someone's not muted.
Oh, so close.
That's the smallest hop there. Fortunate, almost found that stick. But
yeah, that would have.
That's too bad. He clipped his toenails this morning, and if he had those long claws, he would have stuck it.
Unfortunate.
Moving right along, vault is quick. The judges are faster than us. They talk less than we do. Mr. Vinny Colosimo on vault for Arizona Men's Gymnastics.
Yeah, they use their brains. We run our mouths.
I'm watching this live scoring here. It's about a 5/10 difference here with the edge going toward Iowa here on vault in these first ones.
You know, time goes really slow and really fast when you're running down that vault runway. It's only a couple seconds, but sometimes it feels like a year.
Vinny,
Two and a half. It happens quick, folks. Did you count that? 2.5 twists. Stand up on your feet and then move away from all your furniture and try to do that in the air. See what happens.
That kind of difficulty is a big difference. Iowa pulled away a little bit on rings, and so Arizona has a little ground to make up, but that's a half a point basically difference going into that vault.
Yeah, it's a good decision. And like we said earlier, that is a vault. That's a pretty standard vault at the Olympics.
Yeah, I think if you watch day one of the Olympics, you're going to see that a lot of the time. And even in the finals.
Already saluted on vault for Iowa, Evan Davis.
Nicely done.
Very nice.
A nice clean double pull from Evan.
And you see those lines on the ground. Those are the boundary lines. The center line is what you want to stay on. If you go over those, there's a deduction. He hopped back, but stayed right in there.
Yeah, so the center line is the goal, but realistically, landing on either side of the center line isn't an issue. But if you go outside of those two diagonal lines, that's when the deductions start, correct?
Yes, it sure
that's
is.
Right.
And if you land outside of the lines, it is worse than stepping outside of the line. So if you land out, if you step out, it's just 1/10.
Let's use Jordan Williams on vault as an example for this landing deduction option here. He lands in the middle, but and here's the thing too about going off the lines is that not only is it a deduction for the landing, but it also lets the judges know that he was crooked all along.
Exactly.
So he was following a pathway that wasn't straight over the table from the runway, and that is also a deduction. I mean, deductions for angles, if he's skewed on his axle. If he's axis, excuse me, or the axle. If he's going crooked off the over the lines, and also because the trajectory of the vault is also off. All of those can be deducted separately.
Yeah. As soon as they nice. The blind call. So the judging will start as soon as his feet leave the board. The run doesn't count, but as soon as he's leaving the board, he's got to have lift, legs together, and over the top.
Jordan with a
great formal across, right on the line.
Right.
That would have been a stick on a hard surface, so technically I'm going to hold out still right. But like we were saying earlier with regards to, how do you know what the vault was? If you think that you can count the twists and they landed forward, it was probably a 1.5.
This is a question for the team representative and make it an objective to call on that and let the judges know if they landed on the line or over the line. I think it'd be great.
Is it a deduction to land on the line, or is it only if you're out, like floor?
Got to be out.
Good question.
The line is in, but the edge of the line is out. If you have your pinky toe over the edge of the line, you are now out. And, that's where it cuts off. If you get your whole foot on the line, you're still good.
But you can violate the airspace outside of the line as long as you don't touch outside of the line, right?
Yeah. But you got other issues.
On a 4-4 start.
But like baseball with a foul ball, the ball can hook out and come back in, and then you're still.
I'd say start.
John Lucas, we're having an echo from the judges' room on our channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alec.
Folks at home aren't going to complain about it. They're like, "What are the judges talking about?"
I don't know. Alec from the YouTube chat says the judges got Vinny's vault start wrong. It should be a 5-2, not a 4-4.
Yeah, they have already fixed that. They caught that as well. There was a clerical error.
They're ready.
Brings up a great point though.
And we have Amari Sewell here, another 2.5.
Yeah, it was
very nice. Close to a
tall
stick.
boy, and he flipped around well on that one. Good job.
Come on, man. Wrap three. You got it.
Yeah.
Go back to it.
That was Amari Sewell for Iowa finishing the rotation with a huge vault. Now, the Arizona was edging little by little through that rotation, but that last vault may have kept Iowa with a little bit of breathing room still. Well done for both teams on vault. Really kicking into high gear here. These guys are fired up and ready, man. This is conference championships on the west side. This is GymACT live. with you on YouTube and through Virtual Stars Gymnastics. I'd like to say once again, thanks to Robert Davis for putting together the scoring system that the judges are using today and the website that you all are looking at with the scores showing up in real time. I also like to say thank you to John Lucas. This is for keeping the video rolling as cleanly as we can make it with so many connections happening and such a complex work system that he's got to work with from the confines of his own tiny office space at home. So thanks to everybody who's here with us, all of our the helpers, the volunteers, the commentators, everyone. Much gratitude from me to you, and thanks, of course, to the audience members who are here, who are watching us through this competition. Without you, it's just not as fun. It really isn't. Having you guys there and knowing that you're watching, knowing that you care about the sport of gymnastics, makes us feel part of this grander community, this greater entity that it is the gymnastics family. Thank you for being there. Thanks for keeping us on our toes. We really appreciate it. And also, just it's a good time to bring it up once again. GymACT, it's a nonprofit organization. We're here to support these teams. Every one of the teams in our league is self-funded. They may be affiliated with a university in some way, but they have to raise money for their own team to go to competitions, for the travel, for the expenses, for their hotel rooms, for their grips, for their tape, for their typically don't have access to the training rooms, so they got to come up with their own facilities and doctors and everything, right? Everything that comes in play with training high-level gymnastics. You go to an NCAA program on the varsity teams, they're going to have an incredible support system behind their team, helping them stay afloat and stay alive and stay healthy. Now, the GymACT programs all have to do that on their own. So please, if you have it in you, the option, the opportunity, the ability, go ahead and head over to gymact.org. Go to the fundraising page. You can give to either GymACT as a nonprofit. All of our money goes straight into the programs, or you can go and follow the links to each program individually. Each team has their own fundraising pages. You're welcome to go to that as well. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. We're not done yet. We got 2 more events, so don't go nowhere. Charlie, how do you feel about the meet so far?
Yeah, Breeze, this is fantastic so far. It's still really tight. We're looking at a 211.9 from Iowa and a 208.05 from Arizona. And while it's spread out a little bit after the first couple of events, P-bars, high bar, anything can happen. Ask Nathan about Washington last year and what happened with Arizona on high bar. They snuck away with it.
That was incredible. I will admit, my phone was blowing up while I was on that Zoom chat because, the guys are, you watching this? You watching this? And guys that we hadn't talked to on the team in years were tuning in to watch it. That was a super close competition. But with what Breeze was saying earlier, everybody here watching makes this possible. I want to highlight the two people that are commentating the most on YouTube. Sydney Halverson and Riley Johnson have been nonstop blowing up the YouTube chat. So thank you guys for interacting. Other people are interacting as well, but those two are commenting nonstop in there. And we love to see that interaction. We love to interact with you and be able to answer your questions. You help us fill some of this time between the events when you have a question or, you want to know something about it. So definitely keep that coming from all of you.
And I guarantee you're not the only one wanting to know. There's more people who have the same questions, just afraid to ask.
Absolutely. We love talking about
the kids watching it, seeing those kids on the resi. That's what the sport is about. Not only the camaraderie between the teams and moving people, but inspiring the kids. And it looks like we're ready.
Yeah, I was told actually that the Arizona team, they have their open gyms going on right now. That's why they don't have their sound system is not on for the meet, and they don't have the big screens are not on with the other team. Because they have actual open gym going on. So I love that energy going in there.
That's great.
Looks like we're about ready to start on parallel bars. The judges are checking in with one another. And up first on parallel bars for Arizona men's gymnastics, if he can dodge the preschoolers, is Vinny Colosimo.
James, what are we going to see here?
It hasn't run through yet.
Vinny here starting off kip swing hand, nice and clean.
Oh, it looks like he hit the ground there. Is that a deduction?
That sure is.
Oh, Charlie, don't get him started.
It's a bit of a subjective deduction. It depends how hard you hit it, and sometimes you actually go by the sound that it makes. And I don't know if the judges will get that or not, but
if it's with the music in the gym, then it doesn't count.
Yes, exactly.
We have cheered louder on a Moy or a giant skill like that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Clean the chalk off from that area so it doesn't kick anything up, and then you play it smart. Vinny,
the only time a gymnast will pick up a mop is before parallel bars.
Mm-hmm.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was Vinny Colosimo with a beautiful start on parallel bars for Arizona. Do not count them out yet. These guys are ready. They're fired up. They will not give in until the very last event. I spoke with Scott yesterday, in fact, 2 days ago, about the how, if they even remember the fact that they lost to Washington last year. They're like, oh, we're sore about that one. We're coming in hungry. We're coming in ready. This is conference championships. They will not let another team win again. These guys are going to be fighting from start to finish, no doubt.
Absolutely. Arizona has been the gold standard of before GymACT and since GymACT began. Arizona and Washington right there. They're the grandfathers there. And then we've got Iowa and Minnesota, who have joined us this year, who are led by legends, right? Tom Dunn being a part of that Iowa program, you're going to see some incredible gymnastics coming through there. And then Tom Dunn's proteges.
For Iowa on parallel bars.
Another all-arounder. And he has hit 4 for 4 today. Really nice routine. So let's hope that can continue.
Yeah.
There's been a consistent, real just rock for this Iowa team today, where they've had a couple of misses, but Carter's been super consistent.
Beautiful.
To begin the routine.
Name for U.S. gymnast Rajabhavsar.
Rajabhavsar.
Say that one time real slow.
What I'm loving right now is the amount of power he's putting into this. P-bars are heavy. We have all moved them setting up competitions, and he is rocking those bars around.
Oh, that is a lot of swing there. He's really laying his whole weight into it. Between the strength and just the commitment to swing through these skills is very impressive.
I thought he was going to go for a double front dismount there for a second. It snatched me out.
Double pike, same dismount we saw from Vinny. And a little hop backwards, but a beautiful.
Nicely done, Carter Tope. If he had pointed his toe, he would have slowed down that double just enough to stick. Too much aerodynamics going on that double pike.
When was the last time you saw a double pike actually done with pointed toes?
Not from you.
Oh, we see them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that right? I thought I was muted.
Don't want to lose any commentators here, Breeze.
I know. I got better do my best behavior.
I'm having some connection issues at the moment. I think I might have to
going
leave.
through a tunnel.
Yeah.
So moving right along for Arizona men's gymnastics. Up next on parallel bars, we have Mr. Caden Di Girolamo. I figured if you don't know exactly how to say a name, you just roll the R's, and it's always works well.
I think it's "Are you ready to rumble?"
Are you ready to rumble? Here's Caden on parallel bars for Arizona.
One of my favorite things about watching people get ready for P-bars, and I'm guilty of it too, we'll spend 2 to 3 minutes getting the honey, sticky chalk mixture perfectly right on our hands, and then before you go, you'll see us clap.
Yeah.
Ruin everything.
Nice giant swing up to a boy there. Off out of it. Really nice, smooth connection. Nathan, you mentioned getting the honey and the chalk there, but those underbar skills, they really do require a lot of grip. And a whip it near the end of the set here is a very interesting construction. You see Jackson in the back there moving the mat.
Standing in front of the parallettes because he's got to protect his friend.
And
nice. Good job.
Finish it off.
That was teamwork.
A very interesting construction. I think everyone reacted there between the front toss and the whip it. That was some interesting and unique skills there for sure.
Yeah, I'm still bitter there's no connection on P-bars. There absolutely should be for a skill like that.
I agree.
Yeah,
but
bring back front toss connection.
The question came up before, do they have to turn in the routines ahead of time? And yes, it is encouraged that the judges have a little bit of a heads up, but you're not required to do that routine. And I'm assuming something changed a little bit in there with that mat adjustment before the dismount. He wasn't where he was supposed to be, or a skill was left out. There's no deduction for that. It's just that a routine is called a routine for a reason, because it should be just routine.
Yep. Yeah, let's see what kind of routine Mr. Zach Titterman from Iowa brings to the parallel bars.
I had a teammate at Washington, Carl Meter, who had some of the most crazy gymnastics and unpredictable gymnastics. And his strategy on P-bars was to string things together that shouldn't usually be strung together, so the judges would have to try to figure out what was going on instead of taking deductions.
Zach is a very tall gymnast. You see that even though he has, in my opinion, perfect form on his underbar swing, he's still kind of nicking the floor a little bit. And unfortunately, that is a deduction.
Mm-hmm. And with the recent rule change, it's harder to avoid those now, because you can't raise the elite rails up, as they would say. You don't get that extra few. Don't get them anymore.
Yep, you've got to construct your routine a little bit to your body type. Similar thing goes on rings, right? You may not do a Maltese if you're 6'4".
Zach finishes up back
once again with a beautiful clean dismount, keeping it simple and well performed. That was Zach Ditterman from Iowa on the parallel bars. Beautiful routine.
And Iowa's
really impressing me with the quality of their gymnastics. You know, they are putting together some difficult skills, but the excellence, the execution is there. It's really impressive. Well done.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I guarantee you that he was the most stressed about that back layout, because when you make it a simple dismount, if you don't stick that, your friends are never going to let you live it down.
Yep. Absolutely.
If you're going to water down your dismount for the team, you better stick that dismount for the team, or the team doesn't forget.
The team will never forget that time you didn't stick a pommel horse dismount.
Yeah, or it's true. That's true. All right, moving right along on parallel bars. Up next for Arizona Men's Gymnastics, Jonas Ilau.
Making sure the uprights are still behind him.
They're not going anywhere. Good to know. Jonas mounts Kip L. A little short on the L there. Presses up to handstand. That can be up to a 3/10 deduction if you're short of.
It is a 3/10 deduction. That's right.
It's exactly 3/10 deduction. There's no wiggle room, actually.
It is the silliest deduction to get that probably every single one of us has gotten at some point.
I had an athlete miss out on a conference championship because of it.
So Jonas is really good at holding his straddle planche.
I was going to say, he's
this is one of those moments where we do have obviously some a connection issue going on there at the Arizona side of things. So folks, just bear with us. Gentlemen, take it away for a moment.
Yeah, that's frustrating from a viewing standpoint. But, I mean, again, the incredible technology and the setup and the backups that are in place, the judges will be able to see that routine in its entirety and be able to judge it appropriately.
I think you're just making up. He heard us say that he didn't hold his L hold, so he went and held the handstand for an hour.
and then we all looked away, and he did this, man. We missed it.
Yep.
I heard he did a lot of G-value skills between that handstand and the dismount, too, with no deductions.
Although I have been at a JO meet once where a judge sneezed and looked away, and then I heard a coach lie about what skill his gymnast had done. It's a floor routine. He's like, "Oh, you do front full? No, double full." And I don't think they let that stuff slide in GymACT, but it's been before.
We have video proof in GymACT.
Yeah,
no, I actually saw. I was at a JO competition up in Seattle this year.
Let's go ahead and voice that out specifically to the team representative. Please let them know that we're going to have to watch that routine again.
Yeah, there was a competitor on parallel bars, and somehow he fell and he ended up over the uprights.
So we are moving on with the competition. We're going to go on parallel bars next over to the Iowa side on Amari Soul, and then later on we're going to see that routine again as we did on floor once before. But the meet continues. The routine has been performed and recorded, so we'll be able to judge the routine that he actually did. He's not going to have to repeat. Here goes Amari on parallel bars.
Ooh, I've not seen that skill in a long time, and it's nice to see.
And he was very poppy on vault
really
as well.
done.
That was my mount on P-bars.
You often see that skill kind of rolling over on the bars, and he did not do that at all. It was a really nice pop. Amari really swinging with a lot of flight here. We saw Carter moving the bars side to side, and Amari is really throwing himself up and down here.
That's one of the beauties of parallel bars. Much like Pommel horse, there's just a great rhythm.
That's how a peach support should be done.
Could have gone to a handstand.
When we talk about artistic gymnastics, and how do you put artistry into a sport that is so demanding physically? Well, you see Amari doing just that, going up and down on his movement and showing off the skills that are typically consistently done, and in such a pattern. And he made it look different. He made it look impressive and unique in his own way. So I appreciated seeing that routine. Thank you, Amari.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Jordan's also a very good parallel bar worker. These
guys on AST are suffering with it's not suffering, obviously they're doing great, but they had last year Kiwan Watts, who was just an incredible P-bar worker and second to none in the world, in my opinion. And these guys have big shoes to step into.
Absolutely. And while that screen is black, I was mentioning that I saw a kid at a junior competition on parallel bars. Routine did not go according to plan. Ended up over the uprights before his dismount. And he literally stays there for about 5 seconds, looks over at his coach like, what do I do? I can't dismount here.
You guys carry on for a moment.
The judge starts laughing. Like, the judges start losing it. The coach is like, dismount. The kid says he can't. Tries to do a sliding front uprise to the middle after about 20 seconds in the handstand over the uprights. Swings back up the handstand. And then starts shaking because he's tired. He held a long handstand at the end of the routine. Does his dismount and I think he took a bunch of steps back. It was something I have never seen before, is a kid just going, what do I do? In the middle of a routine. Everybody was.
Yeah, the sport never stops amazing you. Never stops surprising you.
Anytime you think you've seen it all in gymnastics, you're probably wrong.
You certainly have not. I gotta say, though, I've had one time I had to yell to a coach in a routine. Here we go.
Are we back?
Now, yeah.
Let's go, Jordan!
We're on to P-bars over at Arizona Men's Gymnastics. Jordan starts off hip swing hand.
You see those finger movements? That's a deduction. They call that milking. Yeah.
It's 1/10 each one he does.
Ooh, good save.
A nice catch there on the Diamondov. Front uprise, pirouette, and that is harder than it looks like. Especially
interesting decisions. It looks like he's going for just a clean and simple routine.
Yeah, this is short, a lot of support skills. Moving quickly through it and finishes up double pike dismount.
Those looked pretty pointed, Nathan.
You know what? I think they were, Breeze. What would you say on that one?
I would say something if I had actually watched the routine. I was looking into the meet management system. Sorry, guys. Carry on.
No problem. The triple pike dismount.
Oh, fantastic. That is the best dismount I've seen all day.
With pointed toes. It was remarkable. Yeah. You know, one skill that we haven't seen today is a Healy.
Not seen a Healy.
You're right. We have not. We're going to see something a little different with this mount. You can see the springboard in place. Well, I don't know if the camera switched over, but over with Iowa, the springboard is in a different spot. And so it looks like he's probably going to mount with a single rail.
We should also see a Healy in this routine. So this has got a lot of unique skills in it. This free-hip mount has become more popular recently. If you watched NCAA championships, I think about half of the Stanford lineup mounted with it, one variant of it or another.
It's a really D-value skill.
D-value skill.
Unless you do three-quarter Healy out, and then I believe it's an E.
And you get an E for it, yes.
But one thing I really want to see, put the connection bonus in P-bars, because I want to see someone go Healy to front toss.
Or Healy to 1 1/4.
Yeah, Healy to 1 1/4, or Healy front toss 1 1/4.
I'm old enough to remember when that would upgrade, and so you did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a Healy and then a pirouette and a quarter out to the side and the glide kip on the side. That was my connection point there.
You know, I'm going to
moving right along on the pommel horse. It is Mr. James Freeman from Iowa.
I think we can all agree, Breeze, that we need to find footage of that and put it on the GymACT site.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
And if you can't find the footage, go into the gym and try again, because we will also enjoy that.
Yes, we would enjoy that. You would enjoy that.
That mount was really well done. And you could see his
gorgeous.
face was right in front of the other rail. So he doesn't get a chance to jump or move the way he would on a peach from 2 rails.
There it is. Beautiful.
That Healy. Well executed there. Got his hand down well before his weight was there. It's a really nice way to do that. And there's another peach to handstand.
Ooh, he's lost his rhythm up there.
Pulls it off.
This is a good fight, but
So with that Stutz, does he get a B value Stutz? Is there a B value Stutz?
there is no B value
handstand?
Stutz. No, there's only a C Stutz, so there would be you'll get credit with appropriate deduction.
Nice double
James
bike, though.
Freeman from Iowa fighting tooth and nail from start to finish. He knows that if he lets up, Arizona is going to step right into that gap. So he keeps it going for his teammates, for himself, and for everyone in the history of Iowa. Right there, you saw Tom Dunn walking by the camera. Tom was the head coach of Iowa for so many years. While I was in college, he was the head coach there. And a phenomenal human being. I had a chance to hang out with him most of the week this week, getting ready for this meet, and I'm thrilled that he's back in the game and in good form. He's certainly helping out the team in so many ways, mentoring these guys.
Tom Dunn is a legend. Yeah,
we're all lucky to have him.
I have a 16-millimeter recording of him from Prospect High School in his senior year, and then he went on to Iowa, became the head coach there, and then Kirk Golder, head coach at Michigan, was one of his assistants. Mike Burns.
Hunter Burnett from Arizona is going on P-bars.
Yeah, Mike Burns was an assistant for Tom and became the head coach at Minnesota. So it's a lot of pedigree there. Nice peach handstand.
There was a little bit of bent arms on that peach handstand. Are your arms allowed to bend before they hit the bars? Like, obviously, if you catch with them bent and you push, that's fine. But while you're in the air, if they bend and then they lock straight before you touch the bars, is that a deduction?
That is okay for the most part, but they have to catch fully straight, and I think
very difficult to tell.
Yeah, very hard to tell on that one.
Yeah, you're leaving it up to the judges to make that decision for you. If you're getting that close to where the deduction could be, it's risky. You want to catch it with the locked elbows. But I also going to say that the type of swing that he was doing, you notice how he swings under the bar, the long hang swings. He's also a tall gymnast, but he bends at the hips and changes the way that his body is shaped through the bottom to keep from hitting the ground. So he would normally, if his body was straight through the hips and just only the knees bend, he would have dragged his knees on the floor. But he does bend at the hips at the bottom and is still able to pull off a giant pretty well for a tall guy. Good job.
One question we would have, a former Iowa gymnast, Andrew Botto, used to, before his moy in his handstand, he would completely tuck his knees and then bail. At what point are they allowed to bend their knees, and when do they have to be straightened again for no deduction?
Early enough. That's the answer. Up next is Evan Davis from Iowa. Charlie, go ahead and give him your 2 cents on that ruling.
Sure. Yeah, no, that was definitely a question mark and a point of contention within the gymnastics community. He's doing another single rail peach handstand. It's nice to see them back to back. Compare there. Some arm flexion there. But,
it's fun to see when the teams come up with routine constructions and they all start to morph and look similar because you see the coaching style and they learn from one another. Like, oh, really? That was cool. Let me try it. And then suddenly everyone on the team is doing the same skill.
Evan with the most there. Variant on the Healy that we mentioned earlier. That's another big skill. And Healy's out of it again on the opposite post arm, and that's tough.
To answer the question about the
blind catches.
Ooh.
Feel about to 1.
It's a lot of work.
Kips back up with his
packed routine.
Finishes double pike. Just overcooks it.
Such a difficult routine. Just had him gassed at the end there. Pulled in a little harder to make sure he got his feet around underneath him so he wouldn't fall forward and land on a tripod, like I like to say, and he just pulled a little too far. So that was Evan Davis pulling another beautiful routine, struggling a little bit on certain of the skills there, but man, some amazing difficulty. James, you may have the start value of his routine up in front of you before the judges call it out, but that was a high level routine.
Yeah, that sure was. That was, I believe, a 5.3 if he stuck to what he intended to do. So
right, and that's the highest of difficulty set of all routines so far in this meet, in fact.
That sounds right.
And that's the beauty of the setup that we have going on here, where they had 4 pretty decent routines. So it's, you know what? Send that hard routine, try to do it because it's the 5th score. Let's see if we can do that.
Yeah, and he's getting ready for nationals in a couple of weeks here. He's trying to be an all-arounder there. He's got to put his difficulty down, and make sure that he can follow through from start to finish. So that's a smart move on the team and on Evan's behalf. Great job, great gymnastics. Took some risk with unfortunately the high rewards did not come this time.
It'll be interesting when everybody tunes in for the live stream for our national championship if that routine stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have to come back and find out.
Interestingly enough, speaking about camaraderie, I don't know if I'm just speaking out of complete ignorance right now, but I don't think there's many other sports that would have their rival teams' flags up in their gym.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. Well, yeah, there is an amazing brotherhood that happens in the gymnastics community in general. And Charlie was alluding to this a little earlier, just talking about a single athlete, a single coach like Tom Dunn. His legacy spans so many lives, right? He touched so many lives and so many athletes, so many coaches. Mike Burns was my coach in high school, and he's coached pretty much every athlete since then, since the 80s. And everyone's got a Mike Burns story. He's like the Kevin Bacon of gymnastics. So we are all friends. We're all family. We all respect one another. And there is, yes, some friendly rivalry that goes on. But overall, we know how hard we're working for this. If one of my athletes chooses to go to a different gym, of course, there's some sadness there. But at the same time, there's some incredible pride in the fact that they're carrying on their career, going to a place where they can benefit from that move, can enhance their lives as an athlete and as a human being. And to me, there's no better choice, right, than for an athlete to move on. And
certainly, and there's an educational component to GymACT, just like the NCAA. So you have to be in an educational setting, and sometimes where your goals are beyond gymnastics are going to take you to a different location, to a different place, but you still want to do that gymnastics.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're GymACT still. The name implies it's a gymnastics association of college teams, and we do have certain rulings that allow athletes who are not necessarily in college, but that they are pursuing a career, they're pursuing some form of education. We have systems in place where it's what are you, the way I look at it, the simple way of describing it is, what will you do after gymnastics? Right? If your intention is to be a gymnastics coach, then awesome. Well, let's figure out what kind of education do you need to make that happen, and that qualifies, as I say, as a career, a pathway that you're leading to through education, as Charlie mentioned. And so, but college is sort of the broad term that we use. You got to be in college, but what else mimics that college experience in some way that will propel you after gymnastics? Because we all know gymnastics is amazing, may even be the best time of your life, and then never be matched, but it will end. Our bodies deteriorate, our abilities deteriorate, and you got to move on. You got to do something after that. So, and then what is that going to be? And the philosophy of us as coaches, us as a foundation, as a league, is what will you do after gymnastics? While you're here, we'll help you with everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without a doubt. What a student athlete is expanded in GymACT, and we're bound by the rules that we create. And we do have rules, and we do have standards that need to be met. But as you're saying, Breeze,
yeah. So this is what we were talking about a little earlier when we had the routine that was missed because of the internet connection. The routine did carry on from start to finish. So the judges now will get to see the playback of this is Jonas Hilau, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's see if he holds his handstand.
Let's see how long that handstand was actually held. Yeah.
That L looked a little better that time around.
Second viewing, I think it seems a little nicer, but maybe we're just being too harsh.
Just speaks to how difficult job the judges have.
Absolutely. And we are seeing it for the second time, so we have that point of comparison, right? There's the expectation that we already have a predetermined opinion form.
Awesome.
This routine pretty nice.
I'm really glad to have been able to see that.
Worth getting credit where credit is due. Jonas Hilau for Arizona. showing a beautiful routine. In fact, well done, Jonas. That it's too bad the connection got a little glitchy there in the middle. Maybe one of the parents got online and started watching Netflix in the middle of the routine and then took on the bandwidth. But you know how that happens in the gym. But hey, awesome job. That was then the completing routine for the 5th rotation. We are at East. Nope. The East is happening somewhere else in the East. We're at the West Conference Championships. This is the gold match going on between Arizona and Iowa. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a great fight. I see that the scores are obviously not all showing yet, but these teams are just this head-to-head. They're right there. They're neck and neck, head-to-head.
Yeah, we got some great interactions on YouTube right now. Sydney Halverson, I believe the comment came in around the time we were asking if Evan would be doing the same routine on P-bars when it comes time to go nationals, and the comment says, insider info, it will. The other comment is, apparently, Evan's score is on high bar. So, John, if you're listening to that, Riley's trying to help out through the comments.
I am seeing it there on high bar if you're at virtualstars.com. But, the totals wouldn't necessarily match since we're dropping a score. So I'm not going to give an update from what I see there.
Well, the scores are matching both on P-bars and high bars, so I suspect it was just entered in the incorrect event. It's a pull-down menu kind of a thing. So you got to, for every routine, you pull down to the event that you're judging, and I'm sure, if anything, when Evan goes on high bar, that number will change to the appropriate one when the routine happens.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
If you correct for that, though, it looks like the meet will be decided on high bar for sure, but we're in a super tight margin here going into the last event. It's a 2-point margin, and that is absolutely within the swing of one high bar routine.
Absolutely.
Wow. So, this is
tight, just like the Washington meet last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even closer, I think, going into the last event.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love a close meet. Shutouts are fun when you're on the team that's winning, but when you're watching, it's really fun when it's neck and neck. I mean, it's fun when you're competing too, but
this is part of the reason that that our conference championship is set up this way in this bracket system, that these top 2 teams from each division are likely to match up really well versus potential, of having 6 teams out there and you're distracted. And you're watching a team maybe that isn't quite in the running for that championship. We're watching the 2 best teams out of the West. And the West right now is really the cream of the crop in the world of GymACT.
Region 1.
It looks like we're going to have Jackson Harrison start us off on the high bar.
Maybe. We always like it when it's a tall gymnast that jumps up. I know Breeze was probably happy when I started jumping up to the high bar.
Oh man, it's like that's probably akin to a kid driving himself to the gym and the dad never has to drive him again. It's like, thank goodness. Yeah, and another thing, when you can jump up to the high bar, then that's my cue to say I don't have to catch you before the first bounce anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I let you hit the ground first and then scoop in.
180 pounds flying off that high bar is not easy to catch. Here we go.
Starting off here with what I believe will be a very unique routine. From my experience competing against them. Begins with a fly giant, a UIC special popularized by Charlie Nelson. To catch it right in the ginger. That will get connection bonus there. Super sped over the bar, up into the Weiler. And here we go with the third release. Jaeger coming in a little close to the bar there and pulling it off well. And they'll finish up here. Little twisting double tuck.
Ooh.
There's that green flag.
Arizona wants that championship.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona team fired up. The first guy on high bar, Jackson Harrison, pulling it together, getting his team all set. This is the setup guy, and he did his job. He did his job well. This is the last event. He's happy with his performance.
I also like the enthusiasm of the mat slider with a nice little air pull before each time he slid it in. We can't let that guy out because it's his job to keep us safe and throw in big skills.
That's right.
Very important.
I think if you've slid a mat, sometimes you've missed, and you don't forget it. Yeah.
No.
I don't know which one you will get made fun of more on a gymnastics team. You don't stick your pommel horse dismount, or you mess up the mat slide.
Yeah.
That is,
or if you're doing the bar pad on high bar, if someone was going to catch a release for the first time, but you yeeted them by putting it in.
Mm-hmm. Or you went all the way across the bar.
Yeah.
He did get the green flag there on high bar for Jackson Harrison. Up next on high bar from Iowa, first on his last event for Iowa is Cole Jans.
Here we go.
Cole here starting off with a interesting, we'll call it a
Ronin?
Yamaronin.
Yeah.
That's what
It's listed on his sheet as a Veronin, so we'll call it a Veronin, which is a good call on his part.
Yeah, his body shape will make a difference on what value that skill is, and his hips bent a bit, so we call it a pike.
I tell you, those guys at the balcony right there have the best view for this routine.
Sure do.
That was looking tough one there.
Yeah, it looks like a
Kachev and just comes off through the bottom.
Now, with your judging eye there, James and/or Charlie, what would you say for that release? Credit, no credit? I got my opinion.
I would say it's no credit.
No credit. No.
I think my rule is if you fall and you land in front of the cables, I would say that you held on through the bottom, and he did not do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, he's already got a release, so he doesn't have to repeat that skill. We'll see if he does just for the value. Looks like he will.
Looks like he will. Like Tkachev, and much better. That's how you do that.
Attaboy.
Endo here. Sorry, Stalder. Into the blind. And winding up for the dismount now. Gonna go double layout with full. Spikes down a little, but it's still a good way to finish up there.
Yeah, the decision to repeat or not to repeat a release movie is always so difficult and so unique and so individual, right? And it's got to do with the coaching strategies. It's got to do with the athlete's comfort and confidence. It's got to do with sometimes, you know your score is already not going to count for your team because you took that hit, so you just want to do it for yourself. And sometimes it's it's the end of the season. These guys want to make sure that they can do this under pressure, that they can pull it off when it counts. So it was this time a smart move for Caden there on high bar, for Cole, and pulled it off beautifully. Well done. Up next on high bar for Arizona, it is Caden Peacock.
Caden here hopping up in a mixed grip. Interesting. And begins his routine with nice pirouette. A little off the handstand there.
We'll call that a pike. Mm-hmm. Right, and the pike Tkachev had been eliminated essentially from gymnastics for the last 8 years, so it's nice to see that back.
Yeah.
So since we don't actually have to submit the routines, if the judge can't tell if it's a pike or a straight Tkachev, will they give the 1/10 value upgrade for a straight Tkachev and then take 3 to 5 for the pike, or will they just give it an open pike Tkachev?
So the benefit goes to the gymnast, but it's what the judge sees. So if the value and the deduction add up better, then it should go as a pike.
Got it.
Caden finishes up here, double layout with full. A nice landing.
Yeah, almost always it's a clear decision, but there are those times it's a 45-degree angle. If you're higher than 45 or less than 45, is it 44 or 46? Which one mathematically makes more sense? The benefit goes to the gymnast.
Yeah.
How much do you have to pike for it to be a pike Tkachev?
Essentially, it's... Sorry, go ahead, James.
90 degrees is the definition of a pike, and the 45 degrees off of that becomes a layout.
Got it.
So if you have a loose pike, right, and you open up more, that's also a deduction. So being too laid out on a pike or being too tight on a layout...
Just like holding an L too high. It's still not horizontal.
Yep.
And moving right along here, Carter Tope from Iowa, trying to keep going on this wonderful streak. His team is counting on him. They've been benefiting from his gymnastics. Let's see what he's got to show us on high bar.
Yeah, he's 5 for 5 today, right?
Yeah, it's been really impressive. That's clearly
definitely a hecht, I would say.
Alt catch.
Ooh, one-arm giant.
One-arm giant. That is a tough skill.
And it's another one that we hadn't seen for a while, but is making its way back just because it adds a little more value. And it's a great one to see.
And on and off the bar quickly. Can he stick it? Oh!
No.
You got to bend those knees just a touch more.
Collective grunt, even from him on that one. You see him double checking himself. It's like, I should have stuck that one. Yes, you should have. But you know what, though? That was a gorgeous routine. That was really Carter Tope for Iowa, hitting 6 for 6 today, showing some amazing things. This team is as shallow as it is. I'm going to say I use that terrible term, but they don't have a lot of guys to pull from. They're all just doing some amazing gymnastics today. Congratulations, Iowa, looking fantastic. Man, I'm excited. Moving right along, Blake Tigson from Arizona on high bar.
And just a big congratulations to him for hitting 6 for 6. It's no small feat.
Yeah. These guys have been competing since January. It's a 5-month season in GymACT. You got to keep your body ready to go. Find that balance to grind through this long one.
Especially when you have a short roster there and you're probably competing 4, 5, 6 events weekend in, weekend out all the time. That's got to be really tough on the body, but Carter clearly keeping up with it, looking fantastic, 6 for 6, and hopefully we see the same at Nationals in a few weeks.
With a stuck high bar dismount, you can do it.
He's saving it for the real one. That's what he's doing.
And these guys aren't just doing routines on the weekend for competition. There's days where you come in, you do 2 on 6, or you do 2 routines on 3 events. The next day you do 2 routines on the other.
We have a pinch hitter on high bar situation over here. We had one of the athletes from Arizona who had to leave previous engagement there, and this is now Blake Tigson from Arizona on a high bar. See how he does stepping in last minute.
That's team gymnastics.
Yeah.
Come on.
Milwaukee and goes up and over.
The whole team leaned on that one.
The big fight. Stalled her nicely towards the handstand.
Let's see.
And Charlie, you mentioned the milking on P-bars. There's a similar sliding deduction on high bar here, so he will
Those
get
hands move around, yeah.
That jam was nicely up towards the handstand.
All right, can he stick it?
Going with double layout.
Oh.
Ooh, kept his knees off the ground. Gold thigh
Nice
muscles.
Get him some ice for that ankle.
Yeah. Way to step in for the team there and pick up the slack.
Tigson from Arizona stepping in for the team and getting all the congratulations he deserves for doing a beautiful routine when it needed, when it counted. Good job.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there in Arizona, but these guys, they have jobs, they have school, they've got family, they've got gymnastics, and so sometimes schedules conflict.
Yes, indeed. And up next on the high bar for Iowa, Mr. Amari Soul for his teams. Let's see if he can keep that streak going. Following it up on Carter's beautiful routine, see what Amari has to say again with a very different style of gymnastics. I love it.
Amari with what I would say is a Yamawaki. That one went a little more straight over the bar. Still could be a little deduction, though.
Nice.
That is a straight body Tkachev. You see the feet come apart a bit, but his body was clearly stretched.
Yeah, we were saying about don't leave it up to the judges to decide that. You see now how clearly that was a straight body versus what the first skill was, questionable at best. But I think he got credit for both of those.
Oh, yeah. I love when you see gymnasts with long legs do nice in-bar work. It's just elegant.
Absolutely beautiful. One arm giant finishes up, double twisting, double layout, just over.
Very nice.
Big boy gymnastics from Amari Sola from Iowa, finishing up his performance here at the conference championships beautifully. Well done.
And Amari with a big day. I believe he competed in the all-around there, and a good showing for him as well.
Did he also do 6 for 6?
I do not.
I have him listed as 5 events. At the very bottom of the page at the virtual Stars Gymnastics, there you can see that it shows the number of events that they're competing in a day.
I totally did the homework.
Moving right along, Hunter Burnett for Arizona men's gymnastics.
I'm going to give a shout out to these judges. They are working fast.
Yeah. They know what they're doing. I've seen these guys for years, and they're solid. Well, that's a nice giant out of that. Often you'll see the arms bend.
He is working that high bar.
Oh, yeah. Nice straddle to Tkachev there.
Yeah, the thing about the release moves is that you definitely want to put it where you almost miss it every time, or you will certainly incur a deduction for a bad swing on the other side. So you want to go for the ultimate risk for the ultimate benefit, and sometimes that's a little too far.
Yeah, but seeing a good lock arm giant out of a release, while it's technically doesn't necessarily add value to your routine, it adds value.
Yeah. It does, and it builds
really
on your
nice.
confidence too for the rest of the routine when you know you caught it right on right where you intended it to be.
Thank you, Brian. Drew, Amari did not.
That was a gorgeous routine. The judges are going to be suffering trying to find deductions on that, and that's you judge what you see, and that was Hunter Brunette, from Arizona, giving nothing away. That was a fantastic routine.
Yeah, this is going to be close. Both teams are really coming together on their last event, and high bar can really be a make or break, because anytime you lead, like the high bar is not very big, and anytime you send your body up and over and you go flying, you might not land back on that bar, and you're going to incur some big deductions. But both teams are hitting up solid routines.
Or you land right on.
I was Zach Ditterman on high bar.
Yeah, or you get too much on the bar, which another issue.
Mm-hmm. But both these teams doing incredible gymnastics today.
As Breeze was talking about,
going for gold. There it was. My goodness, that was so close. Just couldn't get his dowels around the bar. Fingertips on it. That's when you check your fingers to make sure that the tips are still attached. Man, that was close.
Yeah, his first release move was what Breeze was talking about, being just on the edge and having a beautiful swing out of it.
And the second one just overshot that little. You have such a thin margin of error. I mean, that bar is about as thick around as a quarter. So if you miss that by just a little bit, it's really disastrous.
And if I were a bet man, I'd say he was going for 2 releases in a row there, because the way that he was cranking that Tkachev to catch so high up on the bar at an angle, he was getting ready for tapping for something else. Let's see what comes out of it.
Yeah.
A little late on that tap.
Good set.
Timing's just a bit off, sending him over.
Definitely going for that connection, because otherwise you wouldn't do the skill again.
Yeah,
exactly.
We'll see what.
So and here's what we're talking about, right? It's five scores, 5 men up, 4 scores count, but these guys don't have a lot of room to wiggle. And ASU is watching these on its screens over there on their end. They're going, here comes our opening, boys. Here comes our opening. These guys, it rattles them up. They still got one more after this. So it's oh man. This is exciting. Take it away, because I can't even talk about it.
Absolutely, yeah. The execution matters, for sure. And, we're seeing that now. You see Lance pointing to his wrist. How much time does he have to get back up there? You get 30 seconds after a fall.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds after you get off the ground, right?
Right. Once you get up. And, in fact, you can take a full minute, but you take an extra deduction. He's going for it a third time. He wants to catch that bar.
That is
a matter of pride.
I have an anecdote. I'm going to have to step in right here and say this. I competed on my last national championships for my team, and that's back when we had a little bit of more options of how many routines counted. And I was trying to do my best for the all-around, and I threw my full twisting ginger 3 times and missed it all 3 times. Now, I got to say, not only was that devastating for me, but I tell you what, though, the look on my teammates' faces when I got off that bar was all I needed to know that was just the wrong decision. Even though my score was not counting, it was not anything. It just brought the morale down for the entire rest of that rotation, and it was just the wrong thing to do. So in this case, though, again, these guys are trying things out. They're testing the waters. They're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. This is an important competition, but their eyes are on the prize for national championships.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
2 skills there, jam, and then a talk half. So this routine is picking up here and dismounts back layout. And that is not the routine that he wanted, but it is what they're going to have to work with from here.
That's right. Yeah. Zach Ditterman showing that he can do a layout on every event and perform it beautifully, in fact. Now, all kidding aside, though, Zach did a beautiful routine indeed. That was unfortunate that one skill that's the one that you get remembered for, unfortunately. But that was a really nice routine executed all across from start to finish.
Yeah, I've seen Zach compete for a long time, and he's a very good gymnast. He'll be frustrated with today, but he'll come back strong.
Is this the last competitor for Arizona on high bar?
This is Jordan Williams for Arizona men's gymnastics. They're top all-arounder at the moment, and he is looking. He's been looking strong all day long. And Jordan is one of those guys who's got a long, tall body, and he uses his weight distribution well on all the events. And I like the way he swings high bar. Let's check it out.
Yeah, one of the things that he's in a really fun situation to be in right now. His team riled up in the background.
Oh yeah, they're ready, man.
4 routines, so he knows that he can just go up there and play. He can potentially benefit, raise the score a little bit, outdo one of his teammates, and get them more points. But they've already had 4 hit routines, so he just gets to play and celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great.
All right, I'm gonna do a spoiler alert right here and tell you right now that at the moment, with 4 scores counting, Arizona is pulling ahead of Iowa, and they got a chance to stay up on top. Oh my goodness, beautiful! Jordan Williams for Arizona, his teams know it. This is great. Oh, that's the way to finish. That was a dog finish from last year. This time turns around and comes back for Arizona. Oh my God, that was exciting.
That was huge. Wow. That was just amazing. And, this meet was tight the whole way through.
And this is going to come down to the last routine, really. We'll come down to Evan Davis on high bar and see if Iowa can answer to that huge routine from Jordan Williams there. I mean, that.
What I am not going to give away is I'm not going to give away how much lead Arizona has at the moment. But I'm going to tell you that routine from Jordan just skyrocketed their enthusiasm. I'll tell you what, this team right now is ready for nationals.
Evan is about to show why he's the captain, why he's an N2 nominee. Let's see if he can pull this routine off.
Yeah.
Oh. You see exactly what I was talking about earlier. He went for broke. He went for the limit of that swing. Really had to reach for the high bar. Unfortunately, didn't get his dowel. The little cylinder that's on the grips that helps to hold onto the bar a little bit better. It just quite didn't get the dowel around the bar, unfortunately, for that one. But that was right on the money. What is that? A 16th of an inch would have been the difference.
Yeah.
Oh, Jordan doing the dance of joy there on the side. I can see it. Don't count your chickens yet, man. The scores aren't in. You never know.
And that's probably got to be the worst feeling in sports, to just be that close to a release and it just comes off like that. But I've been picking it back up here. It's like it never happened. He can just do the whole routine from here and comes up on the back door of that talk full.
Just trying to hit that handstand, do it perfectly. The talk fulls are just kind of like the releases too, where you have a very small margin for error and you got to hit it.
Yeah, even more so, I'd say, with those in-bar skills. If you're off by a little bit, your deductions add up real quick, and you can lose credit before you even know it. So he was really going for broke there. And
yeah, I was going to say, if anything, again, talking about these teams not letting the other team win, right? He's going for perfection in his routine. He's really cranking on the bar hard, and just the timing was just off, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, not playing it safe, and I can imagine the frustration in Iowa City right now. These guys are going to take this into the gym, probably not tomorrow, maybe have a day off, but come in Monday, and they're going to be working real hard to make it a different outcome in May.
And
his grip broke.
Abs on the end of the routine.
This will be interesting.
And now this,
ladies and gentlemen, are we gonna have drama today? He is so we are all so stoked about this. Unfortunately, he fell again. But we're gonna talk about the rule in just a second. But that's gonna be incredible. All right, here, you know what? Here it is. Let's set the stage, right? Iowa is leading, and Arizona trailing the entire meet until the last event, and then we get these guys to just edge over and over, little by little. Arizona takes over the scoring and leads into the last routine. Jordan Williams gets his team riled up by just doing the best routine I've ever seen him do, the best landing of the best dismount he's ever done, and he gets the best routine I've ever seen out of that kid. And Arizona is fired up. They're ready. And now we get the opportunity for Iowa to pull one last routine, the last chance to win this competition. And we saw some really hard work, some really pumped up energy gymnastics coming out from Evan right there on high bar. Unfortunately, his angles were off, and he was peeling off the bar in both directions every way Oh my gosh. And then on that high bar dismount, he peels off the bar. Disaster. We're like, what is he thinking? Why is he tapping so early? But he wasn't. His grip broke. And I'll tell you, you have about 4 to 5 times your body weight hanging on your fingers when you're cranking that dismount. That has been proven. It's a science of gymnastics. And all that weight on his hands and on those grips, what happened there? The grip broke. And you saw him peel off the bar. Just didn't hold on to the bar as long as he wanted to because his hands couldn't handle the pressure of that swing. And what happens now is this is an equipment fault.
Equipment failure.
Equipment failure. Thank you. That's the word that happens in the rule book. That is at the discretion of the judges to a certain extent, whether or not this is a personal equipment or actual equipment failure. But a grip breaks. It's an equipment that fails. It's no fault of the gymnast why he fell down. And now what he gets is the opportunity to repeat the entire exercise. Charlie, take it away. I got to go on there.
I've never seen a gymnast so happy about their grip breaking. I think he knew it. He's like, oh,
David, you called it. Yeah. So he has the opportunity here at the end of the rotation. Had he been the first guy, he could have waited for all the other routines to finish, and he would go last. He's the last guy. So he finds another pair of grips, probably from one of his teammates. Maybe he has a backup. He's certainly at home. And he can put those on, and he has a few moments, and he can repeat the entire exercise. If he wants, he can repeat just the skill on which it broke. But he's already fallen, and this could be the difference in the meet. I'm expecting that he's going to do this routine again. I wonder if he'll make some changes on it based on our question about parallel bars.
Let me just use this opportunity to plug a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the perfect time since he's getting ready and he's going to take at least another minute and a half. Go to GymACT.org, check out our fundraiser page, and donate to GymACT and the IO team to buy him some new grips.
Breeze, while he's
got to pay from their own pocket, for God's sakes.
Breeze, I'll bring up another thing too. Evan is he's an N2 award finalist. We've mentioned the N2 award multiple times. This is the Nasruddin Natalie Award. It is the equivalent of the Nissen Emery Award on the NCAA side, which the most popular version of these senior or end of year awards is the Heisman. This is the Heisman of GymACT, and he's a finalist for it. My vote's already in, so I can't change it. But there's some voters out there maybe haven't voted yet, and if it's going to see what's happening here, this might change their minds about where their N2 vote goes.
Yes, I already voted before this.
There's more drama being developed. He's checking on his second pair of grips and noticing that those are probably risk grips to put on.
Yeah.
And now, oh man.
Another set.
Let's
you know what? If we were writing a movie, they would say, you know what, that would never happen in gymnastics. You know what, this is baloney. You know,
I've seen crazy gymnastics movie endings, and this is better than all of them. Yeah.
Sure. Oh my goodness. Evan Davis from Iowa. This is the ultimate in drama and gymnastics competition in a dual meet. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And I've never seen, I just said, someone so happy about a grip breaking until he puts his spare and notices that has probably a nick on it. And he's going, wait a minute. Just hold on. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Evan Davis on high bar from Iowa going for his routine redo due to
you want to do a little math?
Failure.
Take a look at the scoreboard on Virtual Stars. Iowa's counting an 8.95, so he's got to make up that difference.
Doing a base set.
It's already better.
And there we go. Nice eagle
move.
Yeah, he's going to fulfill all the requirements.
Level of confidence that he's swinging right now just seems to have changed. Oh, this is a true champion, the captain of the team for Iowa, Mr. Evan Davis with a beautiful high bar routine.
Oh, that's when you look at your grip and you just, wow.
Oh, here's Amari's expression.
Yeah, Amari can't believe it. I mean, okay, this team is ready for nationals. Oh, my goodness. I don't care who wins this competition. This is the best competition I've ever seen. These are the best competitors, the best athletes, the best champions ever.
You can imagine 5 minutes ago the attitude in the gym in Iowa City there, and now what it is right now. Whatever the final score is, that turned a day around. That turns a team around. That turns your mindset around.
Oh man, we have the judges have the toughest job of all time as far as I'm concerned in the gymnastics competition. These teams are neck and neck. They have gone all the way to the end. Oh my God!
I thought last year's championship was incredible. Yeah, Nathan, you're saying I thought last year was amazing. This is something else.
And whether this score comes in 1/10 under or tying or winning, this is a huge win mentally for Iowa to be able to
all right. I am speechless, and that does not happen often.
Wow.
Slackjawed for sure.
Wow. Okay. Well, so here's how this all works now. Let me just pull in the judges and everybody else into the same sort of areas. Give me 1 second, everybody. I'm going to talk to the judges and to the public at once. Just remember that we need to get the score verifications for everybody here, ladies and gentlemen. So coaches, take a moment for yourselves and go into the meet management system in our meet management there and make sure that you check in for the start values. Make sure that everything is going on. I know this is an exciting moment for everybody. It's dramatic. But let's just take care of the business before we can announce officially the winner of this competition for the team. And then judges, also talk amongst yourselves about the ROV award for today. And let's see how that pans out. And one of you will, as soon as you're ready, judges and coaches, come to the Live on Air channel and join us there where we can announce the official ending of the competition. Thank you.
You know, in all honesty, if Iowa pulls this off and they win, that grip should be displayed with the trophy.
If you're like me, you're not looking at the results. I just want to wait because the judges are still talking, ladies and gentlemen. I can hear it in my head. They're still talking, and it ain't over until the
Nathan,
judges
if Iowa pulls this off, that I think that grip is the trophy. Wow, so, amazing.
Anyways, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So let's just try to keep it together. We're professionals in the
No, we're not. We are excited.
So that was so exciting. What a great meet. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not over yet. We're going to announce the winners, and then we got the post-production show to go through it afterwards, too. But for the time being, I just want to say my name is Breeze Olson. This is the West Conference Championships. This is GymACT Live, and we are hosted by Virtual Stars Gymnastics. They are the ones putting together the website and the scoring system. John Lucas and the Men's College Gymnastics YouTube channel doing all the video production for us. Thank you so much, John, for keeping things on track with the video and keeping things flowing. Thank you to the teams, Iowa and Arizona, the top teams on the bracket system that we've done this year. If you have questions about the bracket system, call Charlie or go to gymact.org, and on our news section of the website, there's a blog that we put up today that explains a little bit about the bracketing system, and you will see the brackets there and the point system, how that brought these two teams together for the final gold match. Man, that was exciting. Now, now what's happening now, the logistics of a competition, at the end of the meet, the scores, even though they're showing on the scoreboard, and we're doing the same, we're showing it live, and then at a normal in-person meet, the scoreboard is always showing the scores because people want to know, but it's not finalized until the coaches verify the start values of every single routine, and they have the right and the responsibility to check on that and to make sure that those start values are correct. If there is a discrepancy, they can inquiry officially or not. It takes a few minutes for the coaches and the judges to iron that out, and that's what they're actually doing right now. So once we have the final scores from the coaches and judges, we'll make sure that we announce officially the ending of the competition. We are going to announce the winning team momentarily, and afterwards, after we dismiss the judges, we are going to do a couple of a little more conversation. We're going to have some talks with some of the athletes and coaches, and also some of the perspectives from the judges. So we'll see how that turns out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us here at GymACT Live. This is amazing, so exciting. So let me
see Lance is joining us.
I'm gonna check in with the judges right now. So Charlie, take over for just a second.
Sure. As Bree said, we're going to hear from the coaches here. I see Lance has joined us. I think we're waiting on Staff Barkley. But just 2 years in a row, something just amazing and incredible to get down to the final event, the final routines, to see who's going to win this competition. I'm looking at the scoreboard now. It looks unofficially like that last routine made it happen, like that grip made it happen. I got nothing more I can say. I'm almost speechless. James, Nathan, what do you think?
I mean, first off, whenever you peel off high bar, it's terrifying, and you have the chance to have, or chance is not really a good word, but you run the risk of serious injury. And when he landed, I was like, oh God, like, did something happen? And then you saw his face, super happy. I was like, what? Why is he laughing? And then he pulled the grip up. And it was just like, I've never seen it. And, you know, the YouTube chat is going off. I'm receiving DMs on my Instagram right now from people that were watching this on YouTube, and they're like, that is a cliffhanger ending. Everyone's loving this.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and see if I'm getting most of the virtual team members have already switched channels. As soon as I see enough of them here, we can actually make sure that they can hear us and talk to us, because it's silly for me to announce something if the teams don't know about it. Now, do I have both teams? Okay, Iowa, did they go home already? What's going on? Let's see.
No, we're still here. They're just getting their stuff together. Whatever you need us to do.
Awesome. All right, well, let's just really quickly then, let's go ahead and do a lineup or bring a team in front of your camera so that we can do the official announcement at the end of the meet. And remind your team there that I'm going to ask them to make a choice of their the most valuable teammate award comes from the teammates. So if you guys haven't talked about that yet, maybe take a second to make a decision. I'm not going to throw any names on the hat, but I would say that for at least one of these teams, it's going to be an easy choice. Anyways, let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Breeze Olson here from Santa Cruz, California. I have been joined today by Charlie Nelson, by James Martin, and Nathan Tsuji, and anyone else that announced here with us? No, that was it. And then we had the coaches from Iowa and Arizona. We had the judges. We had Peter, Nat. We had, I'm forgetting at least 3 names here, Paul and John. It's pretty much the whole, the Beatles, including Nat. That's what it is. So here it is. Without further ado, I would like to present to you this year's team champions for the West Conference GymACT with a close score in second place with 309.5, the team from Arizona Men's Gymnastics, and in first place with 310.8. That's right, less than a point away on the last routine. Congratulations to Iowa Men's Gymnastics!
Wow.
Well done,
man, I did not see that coming. I don't think anyone did. As Charlie said, the energy was palpable in that gym while the last routine was going on. Congratulations, Iowa, the winners of this year's conference championships. So let me pull out the first of all. Let me go back to the judges so I can release you guys. Judges, do you have your RV award? Let's present that right now so that we can send these guys home. The judges anyway, and then you can stick around if you want to afterwards. So who amongst the judges is going to present this award? Oh, maybe not. You have to talk on Discord.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was. I didn't realize I had muted myself. Hey, sorry
Peter
about
Wiggin,
that.
head judge for the day.
We discussed, and it was a unanimous decision as far as our ROV winner. Clearly, it was Evan Davis for that meat-saving routine there at the end. It looked like he tried his best to give the meat away with the 2 falls and then crashing out on his dismount. But with his broken handguard, and got to go up and repeat his exercise. He ended up nailing it, and that ended up being the difference and won Iowa the meet. So Evan Davis is hands down our ROV winner.
All right. Congratulations to Evan Davis, ROV choice by the judges. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. Now, because we don't have a sound system in their gym, they're getting the news from their coach right now. So congratulations there. Judges, you're welcome to stick around with us for a little while longer. I always appreciate your presence, and I love you guys, so stick around as much as you can. But what I'm going to say is congratulations to both teams. Congratulations to Evan for his wonderful performance there and bringing home the team gold. But we do have... now we're going to do the 1, 2, 3 go GymACT, so that's going to be the way that we close out this competition, as we always do. So team representatives, remind your athletes that we're going to say 1, 2, 3 go GymACT, and then all the athletes do a back tuck. Some of the judges might join us on that as well, so we'll see how that works out. I don't have enough ice in my fridge for me to do a backflip right now. so I'm not gonna do that. So let me get a thumbs up from the teams when you're ready for the closing. 1, 2, 3, go GymACT. Thank you, Scott. And then Lance, are you guys ready for a back tuck there? Yeah, it looks like it's spreading
we're
out.
about ready here. We're gonna get them spread out here so no one lands on each other.
That's a good point. That's a good plan. It's the COVID discipline still intact for backflips. That's why gymnastics is a safe sport, because if you know you can do a back tuck without kicking somebody, you're socially distant. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to officially close this competition for today. We're going to have the post-meet show afterwards, so stick around. But from Santa Cruz, California, I graciously thank you for participating and for watching this with us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go on 3. 1, 2, 3, go GymACT.
Go GymACT.
1, 2, 3, go GymACT.
I missed it both times.
Yes, yes, yes.
Nice,
that's the way to go. Congratulations to Iowa, the team winners. Now I'm gonna have the first one I'm gonna call on is indeed the coach from Iowa. So Lance, are you there with us? Let me hear from you. What's going on?
Yep, I'm here. I'm still in one piece after that. So.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Well, and I hope Evan is too. You just give him a heads up that we're gonna call him up in a second here too. So don't let him go too far. Okay. So first of all, congratulations to you and to your team for not only a great finish, but all throughout, from start to finish, a great performance from everybody there. So, though we lost your video feed, so hopefully you can get that back, and come back into the Zoom call as well. But otherwise, we can at least still hear you. So tell me a little bit about what's going on in your mind and how you feel about your boys today.
Again, Matt, it's pinned on you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. We're working on getting the Zoom back on, but at least you can hear me. I can answer any questions until we get
a simple question. How do you feel about your boys today?
You know, I honestly have mixed emotions. There were some uncharacteristic mistakes today, but I am proud of how Evan had kind of a scary fall at the end on high bar, turned it around, and was able to hit a solid high bar routine. That was really, you know, it showed his leadership and his just capabilities for being a performer. And I'm really proud of him for doing that. You know, overall, we have some work to do. Like I said, it just wasn't an ideal competition for these guys, but, you know, they fought through adversity and we got it done.
Absolutely. That was a roller coaster ride, wasn't it? I mean, you can see that you guys are, and you were going for broke. I mean, there was no pulling back punches there. You guys are going for the hardcore gymnastics, showing some clean routines all across, but it wasn't always the performance that you were expecting. But from start to finish, they kept fighting together as a team, and it paid off big time at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. These guys, you know, are in the gym day in and day out. They have each other's back. Like I said, they faced so much adversity this year. So to just keep fighting, you know, to keep getting better in the gym, you know, I'm really proud of them for, you know, stepping up to the plate and, you know, taking charge in this Western Conference meet.
Very, very good. All right, congratulations. So I'm gonna call on Scott next to get his 2 cents on the meet. So see if he's still around. Let's see if I at least get one of the ASU. I think he's still on our channel. So if you can hear me, Scott, I'd love to have a conversation with you about your take on the performance of your team today. If not, then I'll call him later and record it and tell you guys all about it. But let me just give you the scores once again for the team competition. The winners of today were Iowa men's gymnastics with 310 points. At 310.85, and second place Arizona with 309.5. Moving right along here, let's go ahead and give out the top scores on each event, shall we? Why not?
I'm here, Bree.
Starting with the all-around first.
Oh, Scott here.
Breeze, we got Scott here.
Oh, we got Scott. All right, let's get him while we have him. So I'll do the official results a little bit later. The numbers are unimportant at this point. Scott, first of all, thank you so much for being part of this competition and for hosting us as the quote unquote home team. Simple question: how do you feel about today's meet?
That's a loaded question. We feel great. We hit 29 out of 30 routines. We feel, if it was a 5-up-5 count, we would have won the meet, obviously. But it came down to that nail biter end, and what a great ending, man. We got to hand it to Iowa. It had great rings and great resolve. It was a good meet, really a good meet. And our guys did great. I couldn't be more proud of them as far as what they handled. We had one kid that had to go to work because we thought the meet would be done by now, so we lost him on high bar. So a kid filled in Blake. He filled in right at the last minute, did a great job. So, all in all, it was a really great meet, very interesting. And got to hand it to Iowa for hanging in there tough right down to that last routine, man. Great job.
Indeed. Well, you know what? Congratulations to you and to all your guys, because it was, in fact, a phenomenal performance by everyone from start to finish. And to see you guys rise to the occasion and not let the other team win by any means necessary. You guys put it together. You were doing the hard routines. You were not playing it safe. And just to end with Jordan's routine, I said it a couple of times, and I took my microphone off. I just was screaming and shouting for the best routine I've ever seen him do. And to finish the team performance so spectacularly, coming from behind from 5 different events and just edging your way up in the scoring system. And then again, it comes down to that nail-biting finishing performance by Evan. Unfortunately, now if that was one of your guys, the emotion would have been very different. But we have to be happy for both teams for putting together this fight to the very end. So congratulations to you.
I agree. Yeah, congratulations. Both teams did great. It's going to be a good 3 weeks of training for us. We're looking forward to it. And these guys are fired up now. So,
I'll say, Scott, you had a similar situation last year where it came right down to the end. And then, a few weeks later at the national championships, you guys pulled it back together and pulled it out. What'd you tell them last year? What are you going to tell your team this year?
From last year.
Good, Charlie. You really want to know what that is, don't you? Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think I have to tell them a whole lot. I don't think I have to tell them a whole lot. They do not like to lose. That's why they're here. So they're going to work really hard. I did kill them, 29 out of 30 routines is really, really good. So we can't really complain with that a bit. But we got some good work ahead of us to do. Obviously, I think Iowa has done a great job. They're got a great team of guys, and it's going to be a tough one to beat Iowa. There's no doubt about it. But they just better not let up. That's all I got to say. Yeah.
What a great addition to the league.
Indeed. Yes, as a team, Iowa pulls ahead this time around, but they showed that they have to be on their best behavior, or Arizona is not far behind, and Arizona still has more to show, right? Yes, they had a great meet as well, but as Cotton implied, there's some room for improvement there. We got some guys who didn't compete today, who are holding back a little bit, and those hidden gems are going to show up at the national championship. So look out, Iowa. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead.
And also one other thing. Hey, Breeze, one other thing. I got to finish with this, man. I got to throw it to Iowa. Anyway, just for being in the freaking arena. They were there. They got through the year. They made a splash. Those guys have been in the gym working hard. Their booster club came together. I got to throw it to Iowa for really, they're there. And the competition is awesome. So let's keep this thing going. And thank you, Iowa, for doing what you guys have done.
Great sportsmanship.
Scott Barkley, the head coach from Arizona and the president of GymACT. And there's a reason why we chose him as a president, because he is just that guy who is here for the betterment of the sport and of our community. So thank you, Scott, for those kind words towards your rivals now, your newly acquired rivals. And, man, this is going to be great. I can't wait to see what's going to happen at Nationals. But let's go ahead and pull out the score sheets here. I'm going to make the announcements. I don't see the teams anymore on screen, so I don't have to wait for them to find the guys to salute. But we're going to go with the all-around score in first place for today with a 79.3, Mr. Jordan Williams. Congratulations, Jordan. On the floor exercise in first place with a 13.55, that beautiful routine that we saw earlier, it was Mr. Jackson Harrison.
Pat, could you go on mute?
On Pommel horse, we have with a 13.65 from Arizona, Clayton Cunningham.
Wow, that's a big score for Pommel horse.
It is. It is.
I guess I can slow down a little bit and let you guys have a little take on what you think about these things as it happens. Let's go on rings. On rings, in first place, showing some amazing strength and great control with a 13.45. It was Carter Tope. Yeah, we were all talking about how solid it was on the routine and those beautiful handstands. Man, that was awesome.
Well, I got to make a comment on Carter's day overall. At the end of the meet, it was Evan, right, who put it together. But Carter was there the whole day, right? That's the reason it was as close as it was. Scott's never seen anything like this before either.
You need to meet yourself in Discord. But
I'll keep I'll make some noise right now to make sure nothing accidentally slips through a microphone that is not meant to be heard. But
Scott Barkley, you need to be on mute.
A lot of times when you're in a competition, you think it comes down to the very end. But the reason it was a close competition the whole time is because people were doing their job, they were keeping it close. And yeah, there's going to be that one pivotal moment, but that pivotal moment in that routine was made possible by other people getting you to that point.
Yeah, if it's not for that meat of the lineup the whole time, the guys were going in and out, every routine hitting, that moment doesn't come down to it, and Evan doesn't have the chance to become the MVP there and pull through for the team. So it's a team sport at the end of the day. It relies on everyone, and Carter clearly showed that today with a fantastic performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. Thank you guys for that point of view. On vault, today's was an impressive vaulting day. I was mesmerized by everything that was going on. I mean, no one fell on vault today.
Yeah,
it was
everybody
10 for 10. Everybody
hit.
Rotation.
And the just the skill level, the start values, the vaults that we're seeing, these two teams have raised the bar for the league.
But only one guy can win this vaulting competition today, and that guy with a 14.4, a huge score, the highest one of the meet, goes to Amari Sowell from Iowa.
And he hit 5 for 5 today.
Yes, he did. Amari had a phenomenal routine. Man, oh man. Moving on to the parallel bars. Thank you, John, for the graphics. Again, parallel bars, another great event. And it looks like the first guy up did the best routine of them all. And with a 13.4 from Iowa, Mr. Carter Tope.
Well done.
Carter again. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bread and butter there. P-bars is where you can win a meet. I mean, it's just keeps you in the game the whole time. And Carter had a huge routine, that massive bobs at the start. And that did it for him.
Yeah, and this is the thing about the Olympic order, too, that parallel bars is kind of that make it or break it. It's that pivotal moment in the meet, right? I mean, you kind of usually break it up into like the first half, second half, yeah, sure. But vault is one of those, it's different from all the other events in so many ways, just because of the
explosiveness.
What it is, right? It's a shorter event, it's powerful, it's gung-ho. And then you get to parallel bars, and that's where you really measure the mustard, right? That's when you have to see if the team can maintain that enthusiasm and the power that we had on vault with the elegance that required for parallel bars, with control so that you don't go too hard and start buckling your hands or leaning your shoulders a little too far forward, and hold back just enough with aggression, right? So how do you do that? And it's a huge shift in the energy for both the team as well as the individual athletes. And then to have P-bars, and Nathan, I'm going to let you speak out a little bit about parallel bars because that was your top event, and you did all around. So how do you feel about P-bars coming in, and what was that for you in your experience?
Yeah, whenever I came to P-bars, it was kind of a make or break moment. Usually by the time we got into P-bars, I had either survived or not survived Pommel horse, and that was the one other event, Pommel horse of the first 3, P-bars of the second 3. And if you can do it clean and you can make it, you're going to go into high bar really excited and do a great job. And it really is the make or break of the second half of the Olympic order. But that's what's so exciting about P-bars. I was sad that we didn't see a bunch of Heelys in the beginning, because that's another one of those skills that no matter how good you are, you're going to rack your ribs some of those times. So you get that nail biting tension going into it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There are many ways for a Healy to go wrong, and I think anyone who's ever done a Healy knows most of those ways for things to go wrong.
Yeah. That
I was
might
one
be
of
why
those
we
who
didn't
didn't.
see too
I
many of
personally didn't catch the bar high enough. I caught it right in the nick of time, and it was beautiful when it worked. I'll stop there. Moving on to high bar. On high bar today, of course, the most exciting event of them all for so many reasons. On a typical day, high bar is the most exciting day, and but today the winner by score in first place on high bar for the conference championships was a 13.35 from Arizona Men's Gymnastics, Mr. Jordan Williams.
No surprise.
No big surprise there, right? I mean, come on.
That was a gorgeous set.
That was amazing.
Jordan. And we thought it was the nail in the coffin, but
yeah,
Evan found a way to pry himself out with a broken grip, and how the tide turns. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know that we're gonna get a chance to talk to Evan. I hope we do, but if we don't, it's good to speculate. Like what was going through his mind, having either heard about or seen, or just knowing that it was that close of a competition going into the last event. And by what it looked like is that obviously he was not holding anything back. He was just going for bust there, and he busted, right? Oh my goodness, busted it big time. 3 falls in one event, and who knows if that dismount would have landed on his feet or not if the grip hadn't broken. But that's what happens. Yeah. The turn of events in gymnastics, and this time, whatever was going through his mind at the beginning of the routine, he was able to calm it down, bring it down into a level where he could hit confidently and consistently. Changed his routine ever so slightly, took out a couple of the risky the skills that maybe should have, could have, would have taken it out in the first place, but didn't. But nevertheless, it just progressed in a natural way that made an amazing turn of events at the very end there.
Yeah, it became very, very interesting. And I'd be curious to know, I mean, somebody's going to crunch the numbers later and find out. Because after Jordan's routine, they were ahead by a little bit, but that was counting an 8. So if he was able to stand up that dismount and maybe get like a 10, it would have been really close. So, I mean, we don't necessarily know that the broken grip was the only reason that this happened. Like, it could have, if he stood up the dismount, maybe it would have happened anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
But if the legend is better
draw
than
controversy here.
Tell the legend.
Always. It's all about the controversy.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, though, you don't swing the same when you know your grip is about to tear either. Because if he felt that grip was starting to go already, it's probably going to throw him off for the rest of the set. So
yeah,
it's a lot.
And I guarantee you, he's going to have 2 brand new pairs of grips before nationals. Ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know if he can afford it. So go donate money to the Iowa team and get him some new grips. There's the sponsorship money coming in from.
In the chat, they said that they're going to bring that grip to nationals.
There you go. Yeah. You got to frame that thing and put it up on the wall, man. That thing that's worth its weight in gold right now.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I can get a hold of them. Let's see. Do we have anybody from the team still left with us? If I have anyone from Iowa, the team representative, it looks like Scott changed to the other room, so he's definitely not listening to us. So Lance, if you're with us and you can hear me, and if more importantly, if Evan is around, we'd like to chat with him a little bit.
Someone find his phone number.
Right.
So, Nathan, just to let you know, so what Iowa won by a little over a point, right?
Hey, you asked for someone to crunch the numbers. We happen to have a mathematician in the house.
So Evan ended up with he ended up with 1.3 in execution. He had, before the fall, he had at least 2.5 off. Before the fall and the dismount. So I think it would have swung the tide, even if he had done the double layout and stuck.
So do you, I'm going to have to go back to the video because are you saying that there's a chance he knew what was going on and after his second fall on high bar, he put on a grip with a rip on it? Is that what I heard you say?
I didn't see any grip change over there at the chalk box.
In all honesty,
I think the integrity is too high.
Grip and wreck yourself for the team. Dude,
and then do another routine.
That's a true
and then you have to get back up and do another set.
Literally took a fall for the team. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I must say, going back and looking at the results too, from a math perspective, if Arizona plans on beating Iowa at nationals, they're going to have to get better at rings.
Yeah.
I don't think it comes down to start value. It comes down to deductions. They are averaging 1.8 to 2 point off on all their routines, and Iowa had some really clean sets that were sub 1.0 in deduction.
Wow.
In execution.
Yeah.
So
it comes down to the handstand, right?
It's a 3 point. Still rings alone was a 3 point difference for Iowa, and that's really what won them the meet.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking at those. Go check it out back on virtualstarsgymnastics.com and see the meet results, and you see where the start values are and the deductions, and execution is the name of the game, right? I mean, this is the back and forth conversation that goes on. We'll continue to go for the history of gymnastics. We're right now we're talking about the international scene where the U.S. is struggling internationally because we don't have enough difficulty in the routines to catch up to some of these other teams. But then that comes at a great risk, right? If you're putting on the difficulty for a while, you're going to have some lousy execution, possibly. And then, you have the teams that just kind of maintain that execution clean at all times, and somehow they are able to edge on the difficulty little by little. And that's what I'm seeing from this team here from Iowa is that they're clean. They're clean from start to finish. And, we had Zach, I believe, was that dismounted with the layout, right, on every event. And but he's got the difficulty from the rest of the routine to make up for that lack on the dismount requirement. So it's a balancing act, and it's a coaching decision. It's an athlete decision, and you want to throw those big skills. You saw someone try to throw that combination on a high bar 3 times in a row and missing it 3 times in a row. And at what point do you water it down? At what point do you take out the difficulty so that you can execute with the best possible? Now, it looks like I agree with Nat on rings. I'm looking at the numbers here, and Arizona definitely, by the numbers, are doing some sloppy routines. But obviously, when it was happening, it's just little bit here and there. Every skill counts. You add 1/3 here and there. And it's not a whole lot, but it just adds up through the routine, right?
Well,
I mean, there was no one on rings that looked sloppy. No one. I didn't see a single sloppy routine on rings.
Breeze, you heard Scott say 29 out of 30 routines were hit. So, they're doing the gymnastics that they're able to do. Can they find a little bit? And, gymnastics, the most basic position is a handstand. And on rings, it's the biggest deduction. Because you do 2 or 3 of them, and if you have 2 or 3 tenths on each of them, that's a point. You do that 4 times. It's 4 points. It's a whole different meet.
I mean, this meet was down to 1.5 points at the end of it. That's 0.5 tenth on every routine. Over 30 routines. You're talking not even about a tenth actual deduction. You're talking about less than an actual deduction is worth on every routine.
Yeah, that means that the judges disagreed. One gave a tenth off on a throw point, the other one didn't on every routine between the first and the last, and that's the difference.
It'll be interesting. Yeah. And then we're going to get into nationals next month, and you're going to add Minnesota on the floor. You're going to add Washington on the floor, right? Those 4 teams right there. This is going to be a tight, really incredible national championship. So if you're not planning to tune in for that live stream, set a calendar reminder so that you are there, so that you're watching.
Absolutely. So let's do that plug right now then. Why don't we? We have national championships coming up on May 14th in conjunction with the USA Gymnastics developmental nationals, and it's in Mesa, Arizona. So it's Scott's and the Arizona boys' backyard. So they got a little bit of a home court advantage, but not really because it's not their gym. So strike that. And you're gonna have it's gonna be a 12-ring circus. It's 12 GymACT teams competing on the same floor, and in fact, all 14 programs are going to be represented. So all 14 teams are going to have at least individuals competing at nationals. So it's gonna be 2 flights of 6 teams competing. It's going to be exciting. We're gonna do John is involved with the video production on that one, along with some of the folks from USA Gym, and we're going to be putting together a nice program for you guys to check out. Every routine is going to be shown as much as we can, as long as the connection is good between the cameras and the Wi-Fi. And that's our intention, right? It's going to be a heck of a meet. We're going to have the best teams in the country, and they're going to be all neck and neck, right? It's going to be the first time this year that most of these teams are going to be competing against each other. The first time they're going to be seeing what the other teams are doing, how loud they are, the level of enthusiasm. You know, what do they do once they miss, and then how they come back from it. These things that happen dynamically in a competition that you don't see because it happens sometimes off camera, you know, from watching the live stream. They're going to be on the same floor with them, and it's a whole new ball of wax. I'm so excited. I'm going to be there in person. It's going to be amazing. Mesa, Arizona, the 14th of May, and the meet, I believe, starts at 5 p.m. Local time, and that's the same as Pacific time. So Pacific time, 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern. James, we're going to wake you up in the middle of the night to have you as my number cruncher over there, so good luck with that. You know, I can't wait. It's going to be phenomenal. And, you know, we'll keep talking about this meet for years to come, no doubt. But now these teams go home and they get to reassess. Every other team is going to be looking at this video and going, this is what we got to go up against. These guys are ready. They are fired up. Whether they won or they lost today, this is going to propel them forward for sure. And every other team is going to have to be on their best behavior to keep up with these two Goliaths of gymnastics. I cannot wait to see. And, you know, and here's Washington. I mean, let's not discard them at all, because they're not in this meet by, you know, just because of the rules, I would say. You know, they are just as good a team as these guys are. They are putting out some great routines this year. I cannot wait to see what they pull off in person when we see them at nationals. So yeah, on the West Coast, things are exciting. And if you've got a chance to see some of the lives today from the East teams, Temple and Minnesota were going virtually against one another. But while they were recording the routines, they also did some of their lives. So if you look them up on their social media, you might be able to catch some of those routines. If you're a judge, don't look at the routines until it's time to judge them. All right, that's my plug. I'm going to give the floor to Charlie. Do you have anything that you would like to say from on behalf of GymACT or your own team? By all means, take it over.
Just a few closing thoughts, frankly, and that's that, you know, what incredible gymnastics we're seeing out of college gymnastics. Last week, I watched the NCAA championships, just watching this conference championship. College gymnastics is alive and well, and GymACT is a big tent. If you're an athlete, absolutely you should be looking at the NCAA side, but if that's not working for you, GymACT has a place for you. If you're a gymnast who's committed to training hard, there's a college team for you, and you should find one. Reach out to those coaches and find a place that works for you. You know, it's going to be really incredible as we watch all this grow, right? We've added Iowa and Minnesota. They're obviously big draws. The NCAA's loss is our game. And then we have, you know, the stalwarts of ASU. We have Washington. We've got our team at UIC. There's those 14 teams. It's really going to be great to see this growth.
Indeed, yes. I don't think there's a single person who has seen this meet today who I'm not going to speak for anyone but myself, but I am fired up. I would love to be part of any one of these teams. Either one would have been what a phenomenal experience to see the camaraderie, the enthusiasm, the sportsmanship, and, you know, the respect that we all have for one another, and how amazing to be part of that. And from my experience, is that every single team in the GymACT League is like this. We are all, some teams are smaller, some are bigger, and the resources are different and whatever it is, but this level of team camaraderie and competitiveness, that is the common factor between every single one of the GymACT teams and every single one of the college teams in general, right? The NCAA, same thing. But as Charlie mentioned, GymACT has at the moment a wider umbrella, all right, a wider tent for these athletes to find a home and to have an opportunity to go to practically any college that they want in the country. And there's a possibility, there's an opportunity for a team to be started or added to. We had the regional team from Rocky Mountain, for example, is a great example. These guys span 4 different states, and they have a team that is made up of literally athletes from different universities in 4 different states. So there is a home for you in the college gymnastics if you are ready for it, and you know, whether you're competitively ready is not the important factor here. Is if you're mentally and your heart is ready, then bring it on, because we will take you. All right, my commentators, thank you. I love you. What do you guys have anything you would like to add as far as either about the meet today or anything you would like to say floor is yours. Let me start first with the young gun in the family. So James, talk to me. How do you feel, and what would you like to share with us before we go?
Yeah, I have to say this has got to be one of the most exciting meets, most exciting finishes to a gymnastics meet probably since the Kohei challenge on Pommel horse in the Olympics one year. It's on par with that in terms of the finish of a meet, coming down to a rule discrepancy and a close score and a really hard-fought meet from both teams. So congratulations to both for a really fantastic meet, and it was just incredible to see. And yeah, and on to what Charlie said about a big umbrella, I think 6 years ago when I was looking for a program to join, I felt like the options were incredibly limited, and now with GymACT being on the scene, there's so much more opportunity, and it's really, really inspiring to see that so many more people will have this opportunity to do gymnastics and experience this just incredible camaraderie through college gymnastics, which wasn't really even an option just a few short years ago. And I think this is really a golden age for college gymnastics, and we'll start to see the revitalization of the sport that used to be so incredible back in the 80s and 90s, those legendary days of college gymnastics. And I think we're heading into a new heyday for it now, so I'm very excited to see that in the coming years.
Thank you, James, all the way from Amsterdam, joining us today. James competed for UIC under the tutelage of Charlie Nelson right there. So thanks for being together with us again. I brought you in because I was trying to do the N2 award. Let me just give one quick little plug, and then I'll go to you, Nathan. Also, Zach Cipra, who was last year's N2 award recipient. He was also invited and was ready to join us today. He unfortunately had some last-minute family affair he had to take care of. He's a family man now, so he's got to make sure that those things take priority, and we appreciate and respect that, of course. So congratulations, and thank you, Zach, for willingness to be here with us, and unfortunately it didn't work out. Maybe next time. And then so our last and the first N2 recipient and our last commentator, Mr. Nathan Tsuji. Last thoughts.
Wow. I mean, last year was incredible, and it was nail-biting, and we leveled it up this year. I mean, the teams did absolutely incredible. There's a shout-out for ASU to hit, or Arizona Men's Gymnastics, to hit 29 out of 30 routines. That is very difficult to do. And, we have the format, 5 up, 4 count, so however the rules bend and however the rules become, that's what it is, and whoever wins, congratulations. But to hit 29 out of 30 routines is absolutely remarkable. And GymACT, it's growing. The fact that we are, 14 teams now, and when I was looking at colleges, it was not necessarily where do I want to go, it's what program do I think will last the 4 years that I want to do gymnastics. And now there's programs showing up, more programs growing. That's absolutely incredible. So definitely, if you are wanting to do gymnastics, reach out to these GymACT programs, look at these programs. I believe you have the GymACT camp June 24th through 26th, where anyone can sign up and learn, or...
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my recommendation to anybody that's wanting to continue doing gymnastics. And I just think it's great that we're able to bring this together, and thank you to everybody that makes it happen.
Thank you, Nathan. Thanks for that plug and reminder. Yes, we do have the GymACT, we call it College Bound Camp. And once again, go to gymact.org, and the information is there under events. So it is intended for high school athletes of all abilities, let's say, in the gymnastics community. If you got the heart to be a gymnast, then we want you there. And the registrations are filling up pretty quickly here. So this is not just a pitch, but we have a limited amount of space in the gym in one weekend, and we're not going to expand it to 2 different weekends this year. We might next. So if it fills up, and you might be left out. It was an incredible thing last year. A lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. The guys really benefited from it. We have at least one representative coach from each program is going to be there. So all of the GymACT coaches are going to be there with their eyes open and watching and seeing and noticing and paying attention and coaching you. So if you want to learn from these college coaches before you're in college, here's your opportunity. As Nathan said, this is on June 24th through the 26th, and go to gymact.org. Under events is the College Bound team. So one last thank you to my commentators, Charlie, James, and Nathan. Thank you so much for staying alive when I had to step away into the business side of the competition. Thank you for keeping things going, and I'm sure the audience appreciates that when I go away. You guys are better at it. Thank you to John Lucas for the video. Thank you to Robert Davis for the scoring system that has been Virtual Stars Gymnastics. Check out their website. There's all kinds of cool things in there. If you are a team or a gym anywhere in the country who wants to host a meet virtually, I recommend these guys. Robert's got a tight ship running there, and it's a great system. So anyways, without further ado, my thank you, much gratitude. I love you all, gymnastics community, my family. You are amazing. Thanks for making me want to get up early in the morning for this. Charlie, James, Nathan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Breeze.
Good night, everybody. Aloha. See what I did there? I snuck a goodbye when John wasn't even in the studio.
Oh,
yeah. That's what happened. And then he comes back and he doesn't know what's going on anymore. Live television, everybody. John Lucas. John, I love you, man. You know what? I was hoping that was gonna happen. I was like, he's gonna come back. I gotta do this. I gotta say bye for you.